with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
And welcome into the Friday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, David James here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Hope everybody's doing well. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Not dressed nearly as nicely as you are, though. So
Well,
I guess I'm not doing as well as you are.
It's a rarity. Usually you are dressed much nicer than me. I'm a big, especially this time of year, big sweatpant hoodie guy.
Yeah?
Usually go to the gym after this, but not today.
You look pretty fancy.
Thank you.
I got to say.
I appreciate it. David, good morning. How are you?
I'm pretty good, guys. You know, out here just vibing today.
Ooh, vibing. I like
Nice. It is Friday.
it. It is Friday.
That is very true. It is Friday.
Big sports weekend coming up. Got the AFC and NFC title games. We'll get into that a little bit today as well, as Joe Rexrode has grown to appreciate. We thought yesterday, after Stillman bailed on us at 7 o'clock yesterday for his normal time, maybe he wouldn't be back on this week, but he's coming on today, Friday at 7 o'clock. So, Joe, don't worry. Jared at 7 o'clock today, just for you.
Yeah, good, because I was absolutely just I went off texting him yesterday as he did the some guys just play like Mahomes when they have a high ankle sprain. Some guys, they're just afraid to play or whatever he said.
Yeah.
This is not one to – this is just – it's so bad.
Well, I can't wait for 7 o'clock. Looking forward to
But
having
do
this
we
discussion.
even want to talk? It's not even worth it.
Oh, it'll
I'm
be worth
already
it.
mad.
Yep, it'll be worth it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Coming up at 7 o'clock today here on the program. We'll have Teron Davenport coming up at 8 for his weekly visit. Pigskin Pick'em at 8:30 for a competition that's gotten very tight. So we'll see what happens on that front as we get throughout the show here today. We begin with the Nashville Predators and another win for the Nashville Predators last night as they take down the New Jersey Devils. The final game before the break for the Nashville Predators, and they get it done. They win 6-4, the final score last night. I would like to point out that Philip Forsberg scored last night to extend my lead in Preds Pick to Click. But, Joe, Tanner Jeannot scored too. So do you feel better about Kenny coming in, taking Tanner Jeannot with the first pick?
No, I mean, it feels like even more of a conspiracy. So he gets rewarded with a random Jeannot goal for letting you get Forsberg. And Forsberg, it's so funny because I was sitting next to Gentry Estes last night on press row, and right before Forsberg scored, I was like, have you noticed Forsberg at all tonight?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I haven't really. And then like 40 seconds later, he scored that
Just
goal.
ripped it.
Yeah, so and then Niederreiter had how many opportunities?
He did.
It's just
You could have gone with Matt Duchene.
yeah, of course. And then that happened too. And I decided not to go Matt Duchene, and Matt Duchene had a speed coming down the right side, gets his own rebound, classic, and it's just all not going well for me. Sorry.
6-4, the final score last night for the Predators. They win. So that is, number one, impressive win against a really good team. New Jersey has been dominant all year long, and they've been really good on the road too. So the Predators get the win. They put up 6 goals in the process of doing so, and that is 5 out of their past 6 games where they've come away with a win. So, the dud in St. Louis last week notwithstanding, they've been pretty good lately, and the results have followed, and it's – funny how hockey works sometimes. I brought up yesterday on the show, the teams that you're played Arizona. And wouldn't you know it, Arizona, Chicago, and Anaheim all win last night against those 3 teams.
Just bizarre. And blew them out, right?
Yeah,
Like a 5-1 in there.
5-1 by the Blackhawks against Calgary. The Arizona Coyotes shut out St. Louis 5-0. And the Ducks put up 5 on Colorado, went 5-3.
Yeah, you got to empty net goal late.
Yeah.
So you got 3 teams that are supposed to be tanking, screwing it up for the All-Star break. 3 teams that needed to win who apparently are just already on the All-Star break as they played their final game. And the Preds benefit.
They did.
And it was the Preds were fun last night. It was a fun game. It was one of those games where I don't think they got the best version of UC Saros. I would say there were a couple in that game that you expect him to not that I'm not talking like completely soft serve goals, but like you come to expect him to get them, and he doesn't, and they still win, and they need that.
Well, it's going to have to be that way. Like, yes, UC Saros is good enough where he can on most nights play really well and give you a chance and all that stuff. But when you're playing good teams, and they're going to play a lot of them coming down the stretch here in the playoffs, I mean, it's today's NHL. You're not going to be able to win a whole lot of games 2-1. So they're going to have to figure out how to win some of these games, and they did it last night. Duchesne, Forsberg back on the board. Tanner Jeannot, I know it was an empty netter, but I mean, goals in consecutive games for him has got to have him feeling good. Cody Glass scores again last night, driving to the net. Cole Smith with his second goal of the season last night.
Get mad. Get angry. Get angry, Preds fans.
Which I didn't see quite as much reaction on the Twitterverse about last night as the first one. But good for Cole Smith, his second goal of the year. Granlund gets on the board. So a lot of guys that we've talked about that needed to play better have been playing better over the course of the past week or so. And, of course, one thing that continues to come up, Joe, is the meeting that they had after the St. Louis game, heading into the game against L.A. And you were there last night. Matt Duchesne was asked about this, was asked about the meeting that took place after the St. Louis game, and the Predators have won 3 games in a row ever since then. Here's what Matt Duchesne had to say following the 6-4 win last night for the Predators against the New Jersey Devils.
Sometimes you don't know what's going on, and it's hard to everyone's kind of got their own version of maybe what's wrong, and I think we just got to the point of some things that we're the hair off with, and that St. Louis game looks like a blessing in disguise now because we were tired, we weren't feeling it mentally, and came out laid an egg, and it kind of brought some things to the surface that probably had gone unnoticed, and we had won some games that maybe we shouldn't have. So, it was good. It's been a turning point for us so far, but 3 games isn't the rest of the season.
So that was Matt Duchesne in the locker room last night after the 6-4 win for the Nashville Predators. Joe, you were there. What did you make of the comments from the Predators after the game last night to close things out before the All-Star break in the right way?
Yeah, well, right before that, I asked – so Yossi talked earlier in the locker room, and basically – I don't even remember the question. I asked something at the meeting, and he was like – I think I might have said, so what was actually said in this meeting, Roman? Yeah. And I think he was like, ask Johansson. I'm like, oh, ask Johansson or ask Joey, as they call him, because he basically was like, Joey is the one who really he said the important stuff in the meeting. So then I asked Duchesne, what did Joey say? And he was like, I'm not going to tell you what he said. And then he said that quote you heard. And then Hines talks always after the players, and he basically, so it turned into, kind of an Inspector Clouseau moment, like someone tell us what Joey said. He didn't talk after the game, but Hines also said, yes, he was the one who backed up by the leadership group, but he was the one who really kind of spoke from the heart. I'm assuming some of that was Johansson calling himself out. That'd be my assumption.
Yes.
Kind of taking blame. But it sounds like also there was some, we need you to do ABC and you to do ABC, some also uncomfortable calling out of people too. So, and who knows? Maybe Matt Duchesne was on the other end of one of those during this meeting. But
it would be hard for me to imagine that he wasn't.
Yeah. So 3 good performances since then. I mean, these meetings, you're in sports long enough, and man, do you hear about meetings.
Oh, you do.
Players onlys and closed door and whatever kind of meetings. And in a lot of cases, I feel like in a lot of cases there is like a short-term benefit. In some cases, I think that they do. I guess I've seen them, kind of become a turning point for a team. I mean, I'm already kind of bracing for this meeting to be talked about like too much, which is probably already the case right now. But
I can't wait. I can already envision like the end of season press conference after they've like made the playoffs and lost to Dallas in 7 games in the first round. Like, well, that meeting, let me just tell you, it turned everything around.
We're going to run it back with that meeting. I'm trying to think of other press conferences of the season.
What are the questions in the press conference? Would you consider having the meeting to start with next year? Just get in there and just have everybody call each other out.
Is there any thought of a competitively rebuilt meeting for the Preds?
This is a perfect example, though, Joe, of why we have our pre-show meeting every day.
That's right.
If somebody needs to be called out, it's what we do.
It's very important. Actually, I think possibly next year we may see a banner like best team meeting ever as they play glorious. Yeah.
All right, I think we took that joke as far as we can take it now.
Let's
I think we nailed every part of it.
Absolutely batter it to smithereens. But like clearly they needed this, and I it's you said it, and I agree with what you said very much, which is like, I mean, okay, let's talk about Johansson and Duchesne. I mean, those guys have been left unprotected by this team, and then unclaimed by anyone else, and then they responded with really good seasons. So, I feel like everybody knows what they should be doing, and then they know if they're not performing, they are. But you know what? Maybe sometimes when you get some guys in a room and you actually hear it from people pointedly, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, only thing we can go on is the body of work that we've seen since then, and I think they played reasonably well against L.A. I mean, look, the L.A. game, they got up 2-0 48 seconds in, and you're like, oh, man, they're about to kill the Kings. And really, for about 45 minutes after that, they got outplayed. It was not great in the game, and then they had a great third period, and it was what it was. Winnipeg, I thought they played really well from start to finish. Last night, for the most part, I thought they played really well from start to finish. Like, those two games, to me, are a little bit different than the L.A. game, where I thought for the most part in the L.A. game, they didn't get a whole lot going, and then the third period they did, and they broke through and won the game. I think the last two games in particular have been really good. So, I mean, that's the only thing we have to go on is the body of work that we've seen since the meeting. I asked the question last night. Some people have different opinions on it. I just threw the question out there, like the break, now that you get it, I mean, you're going to have it at some point, but is the break coming at a bad time now that you've won 5 of 6?
That was John Glennon's favorite question last night after the game. Yeah. And, it's like, probably, but you'll take the break. Yeah. The thing about last night, I mean, how many odd man rushes did they have last night? And they had a few, like more than you're used to seeing, more just entering the zone with speed, which, of course, John Hines has talked about for a few weeks. But last night I thought you really saw it from them and, saw it paying off. They looked like a team that can generate offense.
Well, especially against that team that has a lot of speed. Like, New Jersey's fast. And to be able to look fast against them, I think is good. That's what I've always talked about, though. Like, this idea that the Predators are just skating in quicksand out there, I've never bought. It's about your ability to make a decision with the puck and execute it. And when you do that, it's amazing how much faster you look out there when you play the game the right way.
And a guy who looks fast in general, faster, is Cody Glass to me. I mean, I just really like the way he's playing.
No question about it. So a big win for the Predators last night. They closed things out before the All-Star break, winning 5 of their past 6 games. And now the break has come. They'll be back at it coming up on February the 7th against Vegas. What do you make of what we've seen from the Predators to this point? And how much does this recent streak influence the way you think about what they can be as they move forward here? We'll continue that conversation coming up next, 615-737-1025. But first, Joe Rexrode has a word from our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yes, FanDuel, which is America's #1 sportsbook. And if you've been watching these NFL playoffs on the sidelines, you can get in the game now because new customers bet Sunday's conference championships games with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And all you have to do is sign up with promo code Joe102. Now, on FanDuel, you can do your traditional bets, bet on a game with the money line or the point spread, bet on a player prop. You can combine them for a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Let's see. If I was looking at Eagles-Niners, I'm not excited about both of these games. Eagles-Niners, I like the Eagles. I like A.J. Brown to get in the end zone with an anytime touchdown. And I'm also on the under on this game. I think this is going to be a tightly played kind of defensive game. Do whatever you want. Do it on an app that's safe, secure, super easy to use. Don't miss out. Place that $5 bet. Get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with promo code Joe102. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And you must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Join Robby and Rexrode for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Social Furniture's tax refund sale is going on now. You will save up to 50% at every department. Huge markdowns. You don't want to miss this opportunity to make your home spectacular. We have everything for your home in stock with no waiting. And hassle-free same-day delivery makes it easy. Pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year during Social Furniture's tax refund sale. Don't wait. Come in today. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in the Richland Creek Shopping Center. And save, save, save.
Hey, you think mortgage rates are still super high? Well, think again. Rates have plummeted to a 5-month low. Hey, Willie Donick here. Call my friends at Loan Pronto now to see how low rates are. It may be time to do that refinance you've been putting off, or time to get back to house hunting. If you're like a lot of people, you've got way too much credit card debt right now, and you're getting fleeced with 20+% interest charges every month, or maybe your current home rate is over 6%. So if that applies to any of you, listen, you can get a quick, easy refi at Loan Pronto. Wipe out all those cards. Close in about 14 days and cut your overall expenses by $500 a month or more. How does that sound to you? Right now, Loan Pronto is doing refis with APRs in the 4s. So call now to take advantage of this big rate drop. Get those credit cards to zero. Start that home improvement project, or get out of that 7% loan you were forced into last year. Here's the phone number, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN17. Use code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Anyone want to tell me what happened?
Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to theGameNashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. Talking Preds. Preds win last night 6-4 against the New Jersey Devils. They've won 5 out of 6, heading into the All-Star break for them. And, Joe, if you look at the standings, especially when you factor in the 3 teams that won last night that we did not think were going to win, Predators are 1 point out of a playoff spot as they enter into the break now. So 1 point back of the Colorado Avalanche in the Central Division. Minnesota gets a win. So that's a big win for Minnesota last night in overtime. They jump back into the 3rd spot in the Central Division. But Minnesota at 56 points, Colorado at 55 points, Calgary's at 55 points below the playoff line now with their loss last night. So the Predators right there in the mix with those teams. And obviously you win 5 out of 6, you're going to put yourself in a better spot. Preds 1 point out heading into the All-Star break now with them kind of on the break on the bye week that the players have negotiated in over the course of the next couple weeks. Now the standings will change as they move forward here. You've got games on Friday, games on Saturday, and then next week a little bit less so. It's the bye week that some teams have, and then the All-Star break officially is next weekend. So the standings are going to change as they look ahead here. Some teams will have their bye week coming up. Some teams will be a little bit later. But right now, Predators, especially when you consider where they were about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, in a decent spot heading into this part of their break.
Yeah, look, I mean, it looks better. You probably at some point need a real hot streak. What's the hottest streak they've had this year? Have they won 6 of 7 or anything like that. They're going to need one
Yeah.
of those. I think they had one pretty good one.
They did, but the thing is, they've had now a couple of those where they've gone on a good streak. The problem is the first couple of times, they followed it up with a streak where they've lost 5 of 6 or whatever it be. That's what you can't have anymore.
Right.
Like you've kind of you've used up your ability to lose 5 out of 8 games, 5 out of 7 games as you move down the stretch here. They've done that a couple too many times already.
Yeah, and consistency is something it's a word everybody uses in sports, and really nobody attains. Even like the greatest teams have streaks,
right.
you know? But they've got to be as consistent as possible. I think they have to have one of those hot streaks, but like, yeah, you can't have the streaks both ways. You know, you got to win 3 out of 5, basically. I mean, what do you need? Let's see. They are sitting there at 54 points. So, again, if you go by is 98 points kind of the agreed-upon rule?
That's
like you're going to get in with 98?
Yeah, most time.
So you need 44 points in 34 games.
Yeah. It's not easy.
Right.
Not an easy thing to do.
You know, it's not easy, but and the schedule is tough. At least the schedule is like you're playing the right people. I mean, you're playing the people that you need to, you're trying to get in the playoffs instead of them. Well, beat them then. I mean, at least, know, like there's not going to be, and the schedule is very direct for the rest of the way for them. Lots of Western Conference teams that they're competing with.
Yep. And, when you come back immediately, I mean, you've got Vegas, who's obviously a Western Conference team. And then it's Philly, Arizona, Boston, Florida, some Eastern Conference teams, and, one Western Conference team thrown in there. But to your point, once you get into kind of the second half of second half of February, and then especially into March, you got a lot of Western Conference games, lots of divisional games coming up. I mean, looking at the schedule for March, they're playing basically every other day. And that's another part of this is Saros is playing great.
Rest up.
But need to rest up, and they're going to have to use Lincoln in some on non-back-to-back stretches coming down the stretch too.
Yeah, and then if you said that going in the season, you might be like, oh, boy. But at this point, it's like, yeah, that should be just fine.
Well, the question that I have beyond the goaltending, because, look, I think I've seen enough. I've certainly seen enough from UC Saros to know he's going to be fine. I think I've seen enough from Lankinen to know that he's going to be good enough this year. Like, you can start him without totally just having fear that you're going to give up 9 like you did a year ago with Big Save Dave in there, so I understand that. But the big question I have is this recent stretch over the course of the past week, has this been a wake-up call for Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson and Mikhail Granlund, to a much lesser extent in my mind, Philip Forsberg? Like, people are talking about Forsberg, and I get it. He needs to be more consistent than he's been. He's still on pace to end up with like 70 points. So it's not like he's been some tire fire out there. But with those 3 guys specifically, Duchene, Johansson, Granlund, has the past week been a wake-up call, or has it been kind of a blip on the radar, and then when they come back from the break, it'll be more what it's been all year long?
Yeah.
That's going to determine what they do this season.
Yeah, it's a great question. Again, that's where whatever was said in the meeting, trying to get a transcript, I'll let you know if we get it. We'll read the whole thing.
Yes.
But it seems like there's some cause and effect here with that. And then, again, why? Why necessary? But whatever. So you know what? This is like, you say that, and then it's like, why do coaches why does Vrabel and like Kevin Byerweather constantly finding disrespect?
Right?
Like you have to play at a high level. You have to find an edge, and clearly there was some edge missing with this team, and some of those guys in particular. And all of them, those 3 guys, have all been really good this week.
And then the other question, because I think what I just said is going to be the determining factor as to whether or not they make the playoffs, which is, can those 3 guys, Granlund, Johansson, Duchene, can they keep it up? Can they play the way they've played the last week and a half? If they can, they're going to give themselves, I think, a decent shot to make the playoffs. Beyond that, you've got Cody Glass that continues to score. Juuso Parssinen continues to play well. Like those guys, and specifically Glass, if he's going to play with Forsberg and Duchene, can he keep it up? Like, can he handle – like, it's one thing to be in a top 6 role, and handle it well. It's another thing as you get down the final part of the season when it starts to become a little bit more like quote-unquote playoff hockey, and it's physical and it's hard to generate a lot of room out there. Can he handle that part of it going up against other top lines physically? I mean, we're going to find out. I mean, I think I've been impressed with the way he's been able to do it to this point. It does get a little different once you get to March and April, and I'm interested to see if he can handle that moving forward.
Yeah. I imagine, look at the role that he has, kind of gradually earned. I mean, how important is he to their fortunes now? Awfully important. Also, you forgot to ask if Philip Tomasino's coming up.
Well, there's that too.
Did
you notice that Poyle, last week was like, yeah, I mean, he's going to be up at some point. And then this week was like, well,
we hope so.
We hope he's going to be up at some point.
So, part of the answer is they need to have a clear need in the top six. Right?
Which could be
I
good
wouldn't.
or bad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if they do, it's like, okay, finally, I don't know, who the heck would it be? This person's out of there. Now, I would argue, another person with skill in the lineup anywhere would be okay, but I don't know.
I mean, Juuso Parsonen's not in the top six right now. You can't tell me that Parsonen and Tomasino couldn't do some stuff together. I think they could.
That's
saying.
That's an intriguing thought.
Just saying.
Maybe he's the trading deadline acquisition.
Maybe. But
the internal acquisition.
To that point, I mean, I said, March 3rd feels like forever away. Well, now they're not going to play for 2 weeks, and by the time they pick it back up, it's February the 7th, and you're less than a month away from the trade deadline. So the decisions on that front are going to have to start to be made pretty quickly by David Poyle and the Nashville Predators. 615-737-1025. Preds, big win last night. Heading into the All-Star break, they've won 5 of their past 6 games, and we'll see if they can pick it up after the break is over with. Predators going to get a few days off here to rest up and recover heading down the stretch. Also, kind of times up well from this standpoint, Joe. They announced yesterday Alex Carrier out 4 to 6 weeks with an injury. So at least about a week and a half of that will be chopped into when you're not having to play games. So it helps from that standpoint. Coming up next, a coaching hire has been made in the National Football League, and I will admit, made me raise my eyebrows a little bit yesterday. We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
When you want all the...
Going in and the score. Blast the score. He risks one, they score.
And don't forget the...
Oh, what a stop. Sliding across to make the save. The backhander, nice stop.
When all you want is... Smashville. We have you covered. Hear every Predators game. Right here. We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3, The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. This year especially, we know price matters, and we're committed to delivering the best value every day. We've also brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, things you can't find anywhere else. And of course, Genesis is proud to offer a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular models in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2023 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Preds fans, Superbook wants to send one lucky fan a pair of tickets on the ice. Text the keyword Superbook, all one word, to 615-737-1025 for entry to win.
Wendy's knows cold and soggy fries are the worst.
So soggy.
That's why we're serving up hot and crispy fries all day, every day.
And all night until close.
With natural cut potatoes, sea salted to perfection.
Show me that potato skin.
Wendy's hot and crispy aren't like other fries. We're your dream fry. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's hot and crispy fries.
Guaranteed to be hot and crispy. If yours aren't, bring them back and we'll replace them. The football playoffs are here, and nothing beats seeing your favorite team live. Not only does Vivid Seats have great NFL ticket prices, they're also the official ticketing partner of ESPN. And with Vivid Seats rewards, when you buy 10 tickets, you get the 11th free. Download the app or visit vividseats.com today. Vivid Seats. Life happens live. Receive a reward credit equal to the average price of the 10 tickets purchased, excluding taxes, fees, and processing costs. See vividseats.com/rewards for terms and conditions.
The NFL playoffs are heating up, and the easiest way to get into all the action is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers, join today to get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code PLAY. Don't miss out. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, and West Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming and Kansas or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee.
Can't get enough Vanderbilt basketball?
Intercepted right all by himself for a one-hand flush.
Your home for the Commodores is 93.3 Classic Hits.
Put it up. It's good. Count it.
Join Coach Jerry Stackhouse and his team on their journey through the SEC.
Pulls a trigger. Yes, from three.
Check out Vandy Hoops on 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Hey, Nashville. It's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, David Janes here with you on this Friday morning. We'll have Jared Stillman coming up at 7 o'clock. The best and worst things in sports at 6:45. So go ahead and get those submissions in on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe, the first coaching domino to fall at the head coaching position in the National Football League yesterday with the openings has been made. The Carolina Panthers have hired Frank Reich as their next head coach. Frank Reich was the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers in their first game back in 1995 and is now their next head coach. A 4-year deal that has been reported, expected to be finalized on Monday. Got to say, I didn't know that Frank Reich was on my bingo card to get another head coaching job this offseason. But he did, and now he's the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Your reaction?
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that either. If I had to guess, I would have said, he's going to have to go be someone's OC, But I think Frank Reich, I'm sure he comes across well, in an interview. He's a very likable guy, smart guy. I mean, I still think Frank Reich is a good coach. I think that we saw – I think some of what happened in Indy goes on him. You can't just completely absolve him of blame. Some of the – Jonathan Taylor had 9 carries today, huh? That's interesting. Some of that stuff, I think you have to look at him and be like, come on, maybe you're outthinking yourself. But yeah. I'm not surprised he's a head coach again. Of course, Steve Wilkes had done awfully well. I know there's a lot of internal support for Steve Wilkes, who, of course, got totally hosed in Arizona so they could go hire Cliff Kingsbury after 1 year of Steve Wilkes. And then Steve Wilkes did really good stuff with the Panthers. At the end of last season, I watched some of the wonderful Detroit Lions playing the Panthers, and they ran for like 800 yards, and I'm like, wow. Cam was like, yeah, you kicked our butt. Yeah, good job, buddy.
It's a great midfield meeting from Dan Campbell there.
Yeah, so it's disappointing for Steve Wilkes. It is a little bit surprising for Frank Reich. I had no idea what you just said, by the way. I totally forgot that he was their first starting quarterback. Wow.
Yeah. Well, that was all the rage on the Twitterverse yesterday. Like that has anything to do with what he's about to go try to do. But, yeah, I guess it's a cool little factoid.
He might need to quarterback him next year, actually.
Might need to quarterback him next year. It is kind of amazing. Like we talked yesterday what's going on with the Colts and Jim Irsay and the coaching hire, Jeff Saturday, all that stuff, and now Frank Reich has gone and got another job. Can you imagine what the reaction in Indianapolis will be if, like, Frank Reich goes on to have success with the Panthers and the Colts just turn into a tire fire with I guess Jeff Saturday as their coach if Jim Irsay gets his way.
Man, boy, I tell you, it's amazing how the view of that franchise has changed. Speaking of things on Twitter, learning yesterday, someone put a side-to-side picture of Frank Reich and Jim Irsay.
Yeah, I saw that.
Frank Reich is 2 years younger than Jim Irsay.
Yeah, can't tell by the picture.
I
think I would describe it as a hard life lived by Jim Irsay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of difference in sort of health choices.
Just a little bit,
I'd say, between the two. It's actually a good cautionary tale.
Frank Reich doesn't probably spend his time with as many guitars as Jim Irsay.
That's true. He hasn't had as much fun. No, I was actually shocked that, like, Jim Irsay is 63. I mean, I honestly would have guessed like he's like 75.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Good for him though.
All right.
He's full of energy, man.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't stop him from tweeting it before he boards his private plane with videos. So, but yeah, Frank Reich. I don't know. Carolina fans excited about that? I mean, that's one of those things that like a fan base is a fan base excited about that after the Colts tenure.
I think it's one of those things where eventually you talk yourself into being excited about it. Like it's one of those things too where right now maybe the immediate reaction is, oh man, really, Frank Reich? Like I saw a headline on SB Nation. It says Frank Reich is a safe, boring, mediocre hire by the Panthers was the headline yesterday. So I don't know that Panthers fans are overly excited about it. I think by the time the season comes around, especially, depending on what happens in the draft and do they find a quarterback, all these different things, that they'll talk themselves into it.
Yeah.
That's typically how that goes.
Yeah. This is also another, there's a lot of aspects of this hire, but it's more and more, I would say, I guess, rare. I don't know what the total tally is right now, but if you're an offensive coach, if you have an offensive background in the NFL right now, you have a much better chance of getting a job than if you're a defensive coach.
Yeah, there's no question about it.
I don't, Brandon Staley's still holding on for dear life out there in L.A., sorry. But
close enough.
It's heading that way, man.
Your boy Nathaniel Hackett hired yesterday to be the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. We'll get a little bit deeper into this later in the show, but the coaches starting to be on the move. List starting to fill up out there in the NFL.
I'm going to go Kaharski here.
Oh, boy.
Okay. So here's what I would just ask of NFL media, okay? Okay. What I would ask is, like anybody who, certainly I've been in this business a long time, like people know what goes on and what happens for people who want to be newsbreakers, right? Who want to get into that realm and to the point where it's like, hey, will you give me information on a regular basis so I can compete, with Schefter, who, as we know, is just a miserable ass kiss and just completely not a ethical journalist. Here's let me read Tom Pelissero's tweet about Nathaniel Hackett.
Okay.
The Jets are hiring former Broncos coach Nathaniel Hackett, their OC, per sources. Hackett previously called plays in Buffalo and Jacksonville, where he worked with Robert Saleh and was widely revered during his tenure as Green Bay's OC. A big hire. There are other tweets to this effect yesterday, and it's just like,
widely revered.
Are we not gonna talk about what happened in Denver? Because I'm also seeing some stuff. Well, it had nothing to do with him. It's all dysfunctional there, and blame ownership and front office and Russ and whatever. Nothing to do with Hackett. Hide it a little bit, like that you feel like basically you're
compelled.
In this transactional relationship where you have to just fluff someone who just got fired in 1 year.
Less than a
was
year.
Very bad.
Less than a year.
But hey, you're a Hackett guy. Hackett. I don't think this necessarily like Hackett's tenure in Denver. Also, in all fairness, I don't think it means he's a bad OC now, right? He has been a successful OC. You guess? I guess
he's been a successful OC. Like in Green Bay, he didn't call plays.
Yeah.
So
that's Aaron Rodgers likes him. I don't know. He likes him.
He does like him. I can confirm that. But yeah, look. The Jets filling their role at offensive coordinator. We saw yesterday that it was reported that the Chargers had completed their interview with Luke Steckel here with the Titans. So the offensive coordinator pool starting to move along here in the NFL.
Is Vrabel now going to interview him too?
I don't know.
Has he already?
Well, we've not heard really anything ever since.
That's the thing. If you heard that he went out there and interviewed, then I think we would have heard that he interviewed here, right?
I would think
That's
so.
what agents do.
We've not heard really anything regarding a Titans offensive coordinator interview in a while. Like it's been, I think, since the report that they had interviewed Tim Kelly. It's like, okay, cool.
Maybe Vrabel is interviewing these people, and then he's found some way to do like the Men in Black mind erase
Just
thing,
wipes
so
it.
they don't tell their agents, so the agents don't tell the media. I don't know. I mean, typically you're going to hear. You're not going to hear all of them. That does happen. Like there are some interviews, although it's less and less, I think, that slip through the cracks. But typically, you're going to hear about most of them because agents want that out there.
Well, maybe Vrabel was like, if this gets out to the media, you're immediately disqualified from consideration for my offensive coordinator job.
Or just like, I'll beat you up.
Yeah.
I mean, the intimidation factor can work for him.
Maybe so. Jared from Spring Hill on the text line says, Joe, great take on Shefty. Fireball hot take Friday. This is from Jared from Spring Hill on the text line.
So is that Jared
Stillman?
Stillman
It may be
then?
Jared Stillman. I don't think Jared Stillman lives in Spring Hill, but
that's how he's trying to throw us off the scent.
He's trying to throw us off.
From Spring Hill.
Spring Hill.
Sure. I've been there before. Thank you, Jared.
We've
Whichever
talked about-
Jared you are.
We've discussed Schefter on the show before.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I can't even do it today.
615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it's time for the best and worst things in sports for this week. We'll take your submissions on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025. We want your participation. Let us know your best and worst things in the world of sports. That's coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3, The Game.
Want the latest on college football and Nashville sports?
He looks like 1,000 quarterbacks I've seen in a college game.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
The coaching staff kept him and got rid of the other guys.
He'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
If he's so great in the locker room, then give him a coaching gig.
Chad Withrow is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The playoffs are in full swing, and Electronic Express is bringing you show-stopping deals. Come into any of our convenient locations and save big on 4K TVs from your favorite brands like Samsung, LG, Sony, TCL, Hisense, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department. 4K TVs, computers, appliances, housewares, gaming, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 36 months free financing. Get big game ready in-store or online at electronicexpress.com. Electronic Express, we make it happen.
Hi, I'm Steve Lehman. Belmont Basketball is the best sports entertainment value in Nashville. Join us. Get your tickets at BelmontBruins.com. Belmont Basketball. It's Bruin time.
Hey guys, it's the new year. We popped the champagne, kissed at midnight, and it's time to make a new start. But if you aren't popping like you used to because of erectile dysfunction or low testosterone, maybe your new start should be making a call to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. You see, ED is just a medical condition affecting men of all ages. But the good news is that ED is highly treatable. In fact, the medical experts at the Tennessee Men's Clinic have successfully treated thousands of men, with ED treatments having success rates as high as 90%. And with a variety of ED treatment options, including acoustic wave therapy, they can likely find the right one for you. You might even find your cork is popping like it hasn't in years. Plus, their low T treatments are highly effective. So many men have experienced life-changing results, from increased energy to more productive workouts, feeling more rested, and enjoying a greater sex drive too. So make 2023 the year you get free of ED and low T. Make an appointment. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes a more comprehensive approach, including a testosterone lab panel and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatment sex start results vary.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game is live and local.
And now, let's meet the starting lineups.
Robby and Rexrode 6 to 9.
If you are talking about a team, that's building a roster.
Chase and Michelle 9 to 11.
He's still under contract.
It's not always X's and O's.
Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace 11 to 2.
Trades, free agents.
Let's get it going. I think this is a good hire.
And Stillman and Company 2 to 6.
I can give you one of the best coaches in the league.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Nashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
He's got big takes.
It's not that freaking hard. Hand the ball to Henry.
Small takes.
You have to defend your decision.
But all takes.
They win, they lose. Just invested a lot into this game. I thought it was the worst press conference.
He is Jared Stillman.
I guess I'm just not a very good coach, Jared.
Weekdays from 2 to 6, Stillman and Company. Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The best and worst of the sports week now on Robby and Rexrode
On ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in sports. As always, we'll take your submissions on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, kick us off this week, as you do every week, with your best and worst things in the world of sports.
You know, we're of like mind on a good contender for worse, a very recent entry.
We are.
You're going to go with that one, which
Yeah.
I actually looking forward to. I'm going to do my my duality of humanity.
Okay.
Like the same thing as the best and the worst sort of
Yes.
thing. Okay. So the best thing to me,
It's my favorite thing you do.
I'm going to go. It did not go his way. It did not go their way. And it's too bad. And then, hey, it's too bad, too, because I picked him to win it all. But I'm still going to go with DeMar Hamlin being at the Buffalo Bills game and being in the box and cheering on his team, and a reminder that, he's alive and well.
Confirmed that it was actually him.
I guess. I don't know.
I can tell it was him.
Because my worst thing is that, he needs to do a video to prove that was him. And I was like, why? So that then you can say, look, that mole was not on his neck before. He died. He died. Just the internet.
I was unaware of all this
worst.
stuff until you said it the other day. And I was like, oh. Then I went down that rabbit hole.
Oh, that's quite a rabbit hole. So, we can't have something good without that crap somehow getting into it. So that's my best and my worst.
Very nicely done. David James, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
My best thing in the world of sports is the NTSU Lady Raiders. They are number 23 in the top 25.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing, that program. It's been one of the best programs in college basketball, at least in my opinion. 20 win seasons for the last, decade or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
It's impressive. And the worst thing in sports is it's NBA fans who I don't know how to describe it. They attack the fun, the fun in basketball. If you talk too much, then they always attack you and say, "Bro, what if you haven't won anything yet?" And it's always something whenever I hear that, it's just bro, let us have fun. It's a fun game. Obviously, this is mainly just the Grizzlies thing. It's just that's the worst in sports. It's just NBA fans who like to act like that. The fan base cannot have fun and talk smack.
Where's your rings, man? Where's your rings?
Hey, where's the rings, guys? Come on.
Brian was getting all over the Grizzlies the other day.
Oh yeah, well, don't even get started on that one.
He was I guess they were talking to him, and there's LeBron got mic'd up. He was mad.
He was
mad.
He did not like
Memphis
it.
Grizzlies.
The old man.
Don't get LeBron and Sterling Sharp mad. I tell you what.
No, not at all. It's
first off, Shannon Sharp, not Sterling Sharp.
Oh crap!
Yeah. Let's not get after the Green Bay Packers later.
I apologize
for misbehaving.
By the way, I'm going to throw. You know what? Real quick, another best. I thought that Shannon Sharp's apology was really good.
Oh, it was.
He was very actually an apology.
But he did get
not
interrupted.
if you're offended, I am sorry. No, he took responsibility. Good for him.
Well, if he didn't get interrupted by Skip, it was amazing.
Exactly.
Wow, he got through the whole thing. Jeez.
What a shocker.
Way to go. All right, my best thing in sports, I know I just kind of talk crap about him, but it is LeBron James. Watching what he's doing at the age of 38, he is about to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the NBA's all-time scoring lead. He's 38 years old. He's been playing in the league since he was 18 years old. And let's take a look at his last 3 games. 37 points against the Trailblazers, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. 2 days ago against the Clippers, 46 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. And then on the second half of a back-to-back against the Spurs, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists. So almost a triple-double. I mean, the dude's 38, and he still is a top 5 player in the NBA. It's pretty unbelievable.
I think he's the best player ever.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
He might be. We're going to get a whole lot of Jordan people yelling at us.
Oh, yeah.
I knew
Oh,
you
yeah.
would think that.
Nah.
Just because you think Jordan's not in the top 10.
Oh, yeah. Jordan and Brady. Overrated.
Overrated.
Rexrode can't stand Brady or Jordan, but the dude's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I mean, it is amazing. I mean, basically, it's like, his finals record, what people throw, but like at this age, doing what he's doing,
we've never seen anything like it.
I mean, 10 straight final appearances is unheard of sometimes.
And some of them were teams that he absolutely dragged there. And Jordan did not. Jordan had a guy with him who was an all-time great player, whether people want to acknowledge it or not.
Yeah. So we
would agree.
I thought about this the other day when I was watching him play. I was like, if he wanted to, he won't do this. Like he's not going to eventually be like some role player coming off the bench, I don't think. But how long could he play in the NBA if he wanted to? That's what I was thinking. Like, not necessarily being a starter, not necessarily at the level he's at right now, but like just how long could he be an NBA level player if he really wanted to?
So I'm trying to think. So when Jordan was with Washington, let's say, how old would he have been? He probably was about.
I think he was
about this age.
Yeah, he was about 38.
But so that's the thing and that's kind of what it was. It was kind of like, I mean, he still scored, but he was kind of transitioning into like kind of a more of a a good player, but not a great player. And he got out.
Yeah.
LeBron's at that age now and still one of the top guys in the league. I mean, it's
pretty unbelievable.
That's a check on LeBron's side.
Check on LeBron's side. All right, my worst thing in sports, Gino Auriemma. That guy drives me nuts. I don't know if the clip made the rounds last night on social media. You just played it during the break of his interview with Holly Rowe last night when Tennessee and UConn were playing. And he's just yelling about officiating and complaining and just looks like an absolute jerk out there. And look, there is no denying that guy is a great coach. I mean, obviously, Gino Auriemma is a great coach. UConn women's basketball has been the top program in women's basketball for a good while now. But the guy is just so unlikable. I mean, it's unbelievable how unlikable that guy is. So Gino Auriemma yelling about everything, my worst thing in sports. We've talked about Auriemma on this show before and some of the Candace Parker situations that we've discussed. But, man, I can't stand that guy. Cannot stand it.
Hold on, let's try this.
Are you going to try this again?
This is really good. And blah 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 blah.
And he's just
and then
yelling.
He storms. And then this is what happens when you come down here. Like this is like, I mean, what does that even mean? First of all, he never comes down there, and then he storms away from poor Holly Rowe. Holly Rowe's just like, okay, trying to ask a question, just storms away from her. Nah, he's
thanks, coach.
He's a great coach, but no, we've talked about. We don't have time at all to get into the Candace Parker thing again, but it was absolutely absurd, and he tried to say it was this committee that didn't pick her for the team in 2016 when it was damn sure him. It's just embarrassing.
I'm still baffled by that.
Yep.
And that team was going to win the gold. I mean, they were dominant. But you had two people that the whole world wanted to watch. Diana Taurasi and Candace Parker.
Yep. Santa in Portland on the text line says, the best in sports ran Carthon. Worst is how Bethune-Cookman treated Ed Reed. Have you seen the Bethune-Cookman Ed Reed stuff?
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know.
That's
weird. Very weird. William from Madison on the text line says, the best thing in sports is Chip Carey leaving the Braves booth for the Cardinals. I don't have to listen to him anymore. This is from William from Madison on the text line. Some Chip Carey hate on the text line.
That's interesting. I feel like I've seen a lot of that this week from Braves fans who are excited about this.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just like the carries, man. Don't you want a carry calling your games?
You would think so.
Yeah.
I got a text that says, the best of the week, the Preds deciding to give fans some hope. The worst of the week, Tanner Jeannot's puck handling. Sweet Lord. I mean, we're picking the week. He scores 2 goals to make him the worst in sports. What are we doing here?
Man.
Come on, guy. Come on.
Good gracious.
That's so much LeBron hate, too. LD, PEDs are a powerful thing. We should start seeing older age athletes continue to excel moving forward. Well, first of all, LD, PEDs been around a little bit. They didn't just, pop up out of nowhere in the last 10 years.
Yep.
Also, I think the older age athletes, some of that is also good choices, not PED choices.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Brady, I don't think, Tom Brady may have all sorts of HGH in his vein, whatever, but he also is, according to him, sleeping 14 hours with cucumbers on his eyes, and
apparently
then he eats the cucumbers for breakfast.
Apparently
and that's all
he
he eats all
15
day.
pounds this year.
Yeah, which isn't good, actually.
No.
When he's the Titans quarterback, he needs to
get back up
up
225.
Yeah, why is
some
that
hot
not
chicken.
the best thing in sports? That Jared is convinced that Tom Brady's going to be the quarterback of the Titans next year.
Well, I'm looking forward to that conversation coming up here in just a few minutes. Jared from Spring Hill on the text line says the worst is Western Kentucky basketball. The best is Steph Curry getting ejected for throwing his pacifier. This from
Now
Jared
we're going
from
to get some
Spring
Steph Curry hate
on the text line. I enjoyed that. That was
lay
good.
off my guy Steph Curry.
That was pretty good stuff there. Bryant from Memphis on the text line says the weird drama between Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy could qualify as the worst in sports. It's interesting. Rory McIlroy and Patrick Reed were on the tee box this week. Patrick Reed goes in to shake his hand. Rory has no time for it. Patrick Reed then throws a golf tee at him and walks off. Some golf drama, Joe. Your thoughts?
I missed that, but it sounds like quite a. I challenge you to a duel, sir. Lance says Gino sounds like my ex-wife. We don't have time to unpack that one, Lance.
We don't. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Jared Stillman. We'll get his thoughts on Tom Brady to the Titans. We'll get his thoughts on another victory over Joe Rexrode in Jared versus Joe as well. I mean, it is another victory for Jared Stillman over Joe Rexrode. We'll get into all that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You love the game.
Predators win it in overtime. Touchdown, Tennessee.
We live the game.
My quarterback needs me to step up.
He can make a defense pay. We are.
1, 2, 3, I think it was a good game. You had a couple of big plays.
Roman Yossi scores.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
It's Michelle Knezovic for Superbook Sports, my official sports book, and it should be yours too, because right now the final drive for the championship is here, and there's no better place to wager on the football title than with Superbook Sports. Superbook features the best menu of prop bets in the business, plus you can check out their special odds boosts and promotions at superbook.com. And why should you choose them? Because they have over 3 decades of odds-making experience in Las Vegas. Win money as one lucky team wins the championship. Download the Superbook Sportsbook app today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics at TriStar Centennial offers world-class orthopedic care with multiple physicians at this location, specializing in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremities, and other orthopedic conditions. Make better use of your time with Houston Clinic Orthopedics with on-site diagnostic and testing, timely appointments, and easy access to the facility. Get back to enjoying life. Schedule your appointment online at tn.houston.com. Houston Clinic Orthopedics at TriStar Centennial, across from Centennial Park and Centennial Sportsplex, when experience matters.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
I can go from 0 to 60 way too fast.
Who knew electric vehicle owners were having so much fun?
20 or 30 years ago, I owned a gas sports car, and this car is much quicker.
It's a great, fun car to drive. When you put your foot on the accelerator, it just goes.
They're fun, they're fast, they're efficient.
Visit driveelectrictn.org to learn how you can start having fun driving an electric vehicle.
Sponsored by the East Tennessee Clean Fuels Coalition, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Now, your Game Center update.
This Game Center update is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. The Nashville Predators are looking to make it 3 wins in a row tonight when they host the New Jersey Devils. Head coach John Hines on tonight's game.
It's a big one for us. Coming into the week, as we said, we've talked a lot about what we've done. We knew that after the LA game with Winnipeg and Jersey, 2 of the better teams in the league, and having consistency to our game and putting ourselves in a good position going into the break. So that's our focus. We talked about that with our guys, and we're expecting us to come out and in order for us to win, you got to bring your best effort against a team like this, and we got to make sure we have that tonight.
The team announced today defenseman Alexander Carrier will miss 4 to 6 weeks with an upper body injury, and they have recalled defenseman Kevin Gravel from AHL Milwaukee. This is the final game before the All-Star break, as they won't hit the ice again until February 7th. Puck drop tonight is set for 7 with pregame coverage at 6 right here on the Preds Radio Network. The NFL coaching news continues to come in. The New York Jets have hired former Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett as their new offensive coordinator, and former Colts head coach Frank Reich has been hired as the new head coach for the Carolina Panthers. This update is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Ian Safar for 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
A gunny performance.
Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robbie and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie morning. I know that for somebody as esteemed as yourself, you've already put the victory against Joe in Jared versus Joe in the rearview mirror. You're back in the film room preparing for next week's matchup. But congrats once again on the victory against Joe Rexrode this week.
I completely forgot about what happened on Jared versus Joe. I don't know if you heard me and Hal Gill arguing yesterday, but Hal said that I had convinced myself that Tom Brady was coming to the Titans, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm trying not to get my hopes up over here. What do you mean I've convinced myself? And he was like yesterday in Jared versus Joe. And I was like, you're right, I did say that. So, I mean, obviously, I don't look, in the rear view. I'm always looking forward.
That's right.
But, yes, no, very, very excited for the quarterback drama that Joe doesn't want to admit that we have.
Well, before we get to Tom Brady, because we're going to get to that discussion, no question about it, I heard, and Rexrode has made me aware of some audio yesterday of perhaps a little accusation you've leveled his way of signing people's names, signing your name on the text line, maybe misrepresenting you. Your thoughts?
I think that Joe is – I don't think plagiarism is the right word, but I do think that for a big J, capital J journalist like Joe is, to be signing my name on the text line is reprehensible. I mean, I think that, like, if this were the NCAA, like, he'd have to sit out some games. It's like back in the day when they couldn't pay the players and somebody would get a haircut for free, and it's like you got to sit out a couple of games for that. I mean, for Joe to sign my name, that's forgery is what that is. It's fraud. And so, I'm going to let this slide because I'm a good guy, but next time I may have to take it to the authorities.
So I don't like to relay conversations that we have off air too often, but I'd just like to say, Jared, that when I played that out loud, Robbie was like, is he really that dumb? But you are joking, right, Jared? Like you are joking? Because obviously I was joking. Okay, thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. I don't
know.
I
was being serious?
Dude, I mean, listen.
Getting the authorities involved?
Well, not the authorities, but like with some of your takes. I mean, I don't know. I listen to the thing. I'm like, does he actually think that I'm like trying to be him? Like Jared was just gets on the text line at 6:30 in the morning.
I don't know.
Yes, the cap is fake.
Cap
I don't
is
know,
fake.
man. Yes, well, of course. We can all agree on that.
Does the cap spending? No, it does not. It's fake.
Oh, so now you've had to put a little like slogan on it because
it just makes it simpler.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
If the cap was real, then it would cap spending, but it doesn't.
Okay.
So, Jared, we had Charles Robinson on our show yesterday, and he talked about the options for Tom Brady as he continues to make whatever decision he's going to make. He kind of joked about how it may be a little quieter this year, may not even tell his dad what's going on given what happened a year ago. But
I didn't think he was joking when he said that.
I don't think he's joking either. But also pointed out that, maybe the options are going to be limited for Tom Brady as he enters into free agency this offseason. So with that being said, based on everything we know about Tom Brady and his decision to this point, your percentage chance that the Titans, number one, could get involved, and number two, could actually land Tom Brady as their starting quarterback next year?
Boy, that's tough. So I think they're out. I think the Titans are out on the Rodgers sweepstakes simply because they don't want to pay him $60 million. I mean, I think that, the idea of the picks and $60 million the Jets are gung-ho for, I don't think the Titans are. I think the Titans are out of the Rodgers mix. I don't think the Titans are going to be in on Lamar Jackson, and I don't want to be in on Lamar Jackson. So I think they're out there. So I think it really means that it's now between Tannehill, Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, and TD was like offended when I said that Baker Mayfield was a part of that group yesterday. But I'm going to put Baker in there because I think he's going to start in the league next year. And did I say Jimmy G?
Yeah.
Jimmy. So I think it's like between those guys. And I'm going to say 51% Brady. I'm going to say 51% Brady. That's where I'm going to go.
How exciting! So yeah, actually, I'm with TD. I mean, I don't think Baker. You think Baker's actually something that they seriously discuss here? I wouldn't think so.
I think he's on the list. I mean, I'm just talking about like actual options. Like I do think Baker Mayfield's going to start at quarterback in the NFL next year, but no, I don't think they're considering it here. I don't think he and Vrabel would get along.
Well, I don't either. Garoppolo, Carr, Baker Mayfield, I don't think those – I mean, look, I think Tom Brady is a more likely possibility than them. So I think the biggest thing here, in all seriousness, I'm not just – I mean, I think it's hilarious that you actually think it's most likely that it's Brady. I think that's awesomely hilarious. But I'm also not sitting here saying no chance. But so a big point that you've made, I haven't been able to find this. You said Rick Stroud reported that he's the one who reported that he would not move out west?
Yeah, he tweeted out that Brady, because of his family life, he does not see Brady moving out west.
Yeah, see, but here's the thing with Rick Stroud. You're right about Rick Stroud covering the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's done it forever there with Tampa Bay Times. I don't we just talked about how Brady's not telling his dad anything, right? I don't think Rick Stroud has a direct line to Tom Brady's mind right now. I do not believe that. Now he's very covering that organization really good, but I think you're taking a little bit of a leap if you think Rick Stroud is getting regular updates from Brady on his mind. Because look, if you're right, or if that idea is right that he wouldn't want to go out there because of his kids, then that absolutely increases the Titans' chances. But like Robby said the other day, so you're either in the same city with them, which would be either New York or Miami, or you're getting on a flight to see them, which means, okay, you're in Vegas, so it's another hour and a half on the plane.
Not another hour and a half.
Okay, 2 hours?
I mean, it's significant time. I mean, then you're talking about having to go back. So now you're talking about, now it's 4 total hours.
So now you have 2 more kale shakes on your private plane as you go to see your kids. I mean, it's a football season. It's one football season. You know what I mean? So I think a little bit too much is being made of that. If you tell me the Raiders are actually out of it.
It's not one football season, though. It's not like Brady shows up in August and then Brady leaves in January. I mean, it is, if this is going to work, and this is the thing about Vrabel is I don't think Vrabel's going to roll out the red carpet for Brady like the Broncos did last year for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are doing right now and saying whatever you want, Aaron. I mean, I think if the Titans end up with Tom Brady, part of the deal between Brady and Vrabel is, dude, you got to be here for OTAs because you've got to be able to hold guys accountable. You've got to forge the relationship with Traylon Burks and Chig Okonkwo and Derrick Henry and all these new guys. You've got to be here. So it really is, more so a March to January kind of thing.
Okay, so it's 9 months.
If Brady's here.
So it's 9 months. I mean, that's to me, if you're going to do this, and I do agree that if you're going to go ahead and just spike your marriage to keep playing football, you're probably going to keep playing football. But again, I'm skeptical about the Raiders just being dismissed for that purpose.
So Fitz,
I mean, he wants to win. He's playing to win another ring, right? I mean, what else is he playing for?
I mean, I think he's playing to win another ring, but it didn't feel like, to me, that he was playing to win a ring with Tampa Bay when he joined them, and he did. I mean,
why?
So,
what do you mean?
Like, I felt like Brady went to Tampa Bay, and everybody thought, okay, well, now Tampa Bay is going to go from terrible to, decent, and they'll make the playoffs, and that'll be that. But I don't think anybody really considered Tampa Bay a Super Bowl contender when he joined. The revision
with those receivers
history,
and that defense?
That defense.
Jameis Winston threw 31 picks the year before. They had a very good roster.
I know.
Okay.
But, people did not consider Tampa Bay's defense good before Brady got there.
That's what people were saying. People were saying it. You always love talking about what people were saying.
I actually listened to an old Jared and the GM after the Titans beat the Buccaneers in 2019.
Of course you did.
You'll remember that Mike Vrabel called the stupidest fake punt of all, fake field goal of all time, in which Brett Kern literally might still be in the hospital for, and they would have lost the game if the referees didn't blow the whistle on it. And so in that game, I was listening to this old Jared and the GM podcast last year, and the best part is at the end, I'm like, hey, I know the stats say that they're terrible, but I actually think that Buccaneers defense is pretty good. And so the statistics were awful for the Buccaneers in the 2019 season. The revisionist history about what Tom Brady was joining. Nobody considered the Buccaneers as a potential landing spot for Tom Brady. The only reason Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers is because nobody else wanted him. Miami didn't want him. The Raiders didn't want him. The Colts didn't want him. The Titans didn't want him. All these teams that he thought maybe he could go to, the 49ers didn't want him. And so nobody wanted him, and he ended up in Tampa, the one team that actually wanted him. And that's why I think the Titans have a good chance at Brady. Because as Charles Robinson mentioned on your show yesterday, it's the same thing happening over again. All these teams don't want him. And so where's he going to go? And, I think that the Titans, if they legitimately want him, can build a plan around him and get him to want to come here.
Okay. Is this true, Jared? JC in Goodlettsville sends me a tweet. He says, you deleted. You're out here deleting tweets. Do I have to unmute you? No, I'm not going to unmute you. But let me read this tweet.
Unless I put something wrong, like I misspelled something, I don't delete tweets.
January 22nd, 2023, 2:04 p.m. Quote from Jared, this is the kind of game where Joe Burrow's hand size actually matters. He'll have to throw it differently in the weather. I thought his first throw was an acknowledgement of that. End quote. You didn't delete that tweet?
I didn't delete that tweet.
Okay, JC.
Did you see the throw?
I'll answer JC as you. Don't worry. Shut up, JC, says Jared on the text line. What?
Thank you.
Did you see the air Joe Burrow put under the ball on Sunday?
Yes.
Joe Burrow absolutely, unlike Tannehill, Joe Burrow absolutely factored the weather into how he played.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any question about that.
I mean, what are we talking about? Joe Burrow's got baby hands.
It was actually an excellent tweet, is what we're saying.
Joe Burrow's got baby hands. That's the one knock on him.
Jared?
Other than that, Joe Burrow is just he is John Elway. When I watch him play, oh my goodness gracious, I love Joe Burrow.
Look, all I know is if Brady gets the QB job here, Brady's the next QB, do we let Jared go to the presser? Like, it might just be a little much, don't you think?
No,
hey,
we let him go.
Last time I was at a Tom Brady presser, it was all over Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. So I think it'd probably be good.
Right, but if he's the quarterback of the Titans, I think the emotion may be a little bit too much for you to contain.
I was actually thinking about this yesterday. Let's say Adam Schefter tweets out at 3:19 p.m. Tom Brady and the Tennessee Titans are – because you know how this works, right? Schefter tweets out at 3:19 that the Titans and Brady are closing in on a deal. And then at 3:21, the Titans announced that they've signed Tom Brady to be the quarterback. So let's say 3:19, Schefter tweets out, or, it'd probably be Diana Rossini because she's got a direct line to Vrabel. So the Tennessee Titans are signing quarterback Tom Brady. The Titans are trading Ryan Tannehill to Tampa Bay in exchange for a 4th-round pick or something like that. Let's say that happens at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I may not be, I am not, I don't know what that's going to do to me emotionally on the air, how I'm going to be able to process that. The two things that I think about of because I've been doing this long enough now to really be able to adjust to breaking news no matter what, is that and if the Predators just all of a sudden make the massive house cleaning at one time, I don't know how I'll react to that.
I just want to point out, I'm pulling for Tom Brady, the Titans. I've thrown my hat in the ring. I'm pulling for Tom Brady, the Titans.
I mean, selfishly speaking, oh, God, it would be great for all of us.
Pulling for it. Jared, great stuff as always.
Joe, you might actually have to write a column on the Titans every now and then if Tom Brady were to show up.
That's a fair point. I don't work much. I do not have the work ethic of some.
I mean, it's not that you don't work. It's that you write columns on sports people don't care about.
That's a fair point.
And if Tom Brady was here, I know the people at The Athletic would be like, Joe, no more Lipscomb basketball takes. We need, with a capital N, we need more Brady columns.
Finger on the pulse.
Jared, thank you as always.
Where's Rodgers going, Robbie?
Starting to think Jets. I think it may be real. Jordan Love, baby. Let's get after it. Jared, thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you next week.
See you guys.
All right. Jared Stillman, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll react to what Jared had to say there. And we'll revisit some thoughts from Charles Robinson yesterday on the Tom Brady situation as well. Let me tell you about my friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. The NFL Conference Championships are this Sunday, and you can enjoy more thrills than a 2-minute drill on FanDuel. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account, because they're giving all customers a no-sweat same-game parlay. That means you'll get free bets back if your Conference Championship same-game parlay doesn't hit. Bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to which player will score a touchdown, or if you can't decide, you can ride with thousands of other fans and bet popular same-game parlays already made for you. I'm going with the 49ers. And I'm going with Cincinnati, the 2 road teams this weekend. But you can take it any way you want to take it. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code ROB to see for yourself why it's America's #1 sportsbook. And if you already have FanDuel, you can start building your no-sweat same-game parlay today. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. A max bonus of $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Your home for MTSU basketball is 94.9 The Fan.
3 ball, yes sir!
All the big shots and moments live here. MTSU basketball is on a station built for you. 94.9 The Fan.
There's never a good time for your furnace to go out, especially in the winter, but it's always a good time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
The National Wild Turkey Federation is celebrating 50 years of conservation delivery during this year's Convention and Sports Show, set for February 16th through 18th at Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Come celebrate the golden anniversary with members, volunteers, partners, and countless outdoor enthusiasts. You can expect the same great nightly events, quality entertainment in the watering hole, and the latest gear from more than 450 companies featured in their exhibit hall. For more info, go to nwtf.org.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.com. tristarmoving.org/radio and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
You look at yourself in the mirror every day and you can't deny it anymore. Your hair is not as thick as it used to be, and it's making you feel self-conscious. Hair Club is here to save the day. For 45 years, Hair Club has helped more than 500,000 clients love their hair and feel confident again. No matter what stage of hair loss, they can help. Hair Club can customize a solution just for you. For a limited time, get 10% off when you book a free consultation today at hairclub.com/chase.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame and on Instagram at 1025thegame Nashville.
Hey!
Oh yeah, and like us on Facebook too. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
On 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Like knives and swords and weapons that you use against me.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios on this Friday morning. Thanks to Jared Stillman for being with us in the last segment. Some fun times on the text line right now, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, as there typically are. Been a good week on the text line. We appreciate everybody's participation.
Why don't you go do something, Jared? Why do you keep texting people on the text line, man? It's our show. Leave the people on the text line alone. Why do you have to texting people in all caps? Weirdo.
615-737-1025. The Tom Brady situation. It's going to be interesting to watch unfold. I heard Jared kind of lay out his plan if he were the Titans of how he would, I guess, attract Tom Brady to come here, and the meeting that he would have, the steps that he would take to assure Tom Brady that they're trying to get to a Super Bowl. We had Charles Robinson on the show yesterday to discuss the Tom Brady situation. Here was his thoughts on where exactly the Titans could fit into the picture as it relates to Tom Brady.
Here's the thing about Brady. I'm curious what his options really are, because no matter what, there's not really great options on the table for him. So, okay, well, what are the external options? The Titans, obviously, on the list, the connection with Mike Vrabel. I think right now he's waiting to see how the rest of the playoffs shake out. I think he's waiting to see how some coaching staffs stack up going through the Senior Bowl. I do think that there's an element of just sort of seeing what happens with Sean Payton, but everyone continues to say, like, look, if he could go anywhere, it would be Miami. Still would love to play in Miami, live in Miami, be close to his kids. Look, would the Titans be on the list? Yeah, I think the Titans could be on the list, but I think part of that is Tom Brady's limited options.
So that was Charles Robinson yesterday on our show, and we talked about the limited options that he could have. I still think that there's going to be somebody, if he decides to play, that's going to put their name into the hat here that we're not thinking about right now. But my question to you, Joe, is did the way that Charles discussed the Brady situation influence at all the likelihood that you think the Titans could be involved with Tom Brady as they continue to move forward here, or is it about the same thing it was before Charles's comments there?
No, I think it changed things. Look, Charles doesn't talk or write about anything in the NFL, without – I mean, he doesn't just go on feeling. He talks to a lot of people. So I take everything I think he's the best reporter covering the NFL, and I take everything that he says or writes, seriously, because it's not just done on a whim. So I take it seriously. I still, again – you may be right, although we could probably go through all the teams, and I don't know that there's too many other possibilities other than the ones we've all been throwing around. I mean, I guess the Vikings.
Oh, people are talking Atlanta now.
Yeah, Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, but there's not a ton. I still have that same question about, do we know for sure that you can rule out those teams farther away? Because I mean, if he's limiting his own options, that's different than he doesn't have a lot of options, right? I mean, if he's going to keep playing, I mean, okay, then it's a little bit more of a pain to see your kids. If he's playing in Nashville, Tennessee. How much more is he seeing his kids than if he's playing in Las Vegas? It's a little bit more painful to do it. It's a little bit more airtime to do it.
Yep.
You can fly them to you here. You can fly them to you there, and vice versa. Whenever you have a break, the off or idle week, both are acceptable. I just don't see how is that if you're him and you're continuing to play at age 46 and you are all about finding another ring. How are you going to limit yourself for that? That doesn't add up to me. So I'm skeptical of that. If it's true, or if his options are truly as limited as Charles kind of laid out there, well, I mean, you have to take it seriously.
I think you have to take it seriously. What I wonder is how do the Dolphins feel about Tua, right? Because I do believe there was obviously smoke with the Tom Brady, Stephen Ross, Dolphin stuff. His kids live there. I do believe that if he could handpick his destination right now, it would be the Miami Dolphins. So does that influence the way the Dolphins operate at all? Are they committed to Tua? What does Tua's playing future look like with, what do you have, 3 concussions this year? I mean, good gracious. What does that look like if you're the Dolphins moving forward with him? I mean, you've got Tyreek Hill. You've got Jalen Waddle. I like Mike McDaniel as coach. Their defense is okay. So do the Dolphins all of a sudden become a factor in this with Tua and kind of the questions that he's got moving forward? I don't know. Maybe they're committed to Tua, and maybe Tua's their guy, and they saw enough when Tua was healthy this year to think, okay, we think he can be something as they move forward here. But I believe if Tom Brady could handpick his destination, it would be the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. And this is where, speaking of Jared, I've heard him some this week talking about this, and he's like, well, the Dolphins said they're sticking with Tua. So it's like, okay, so sometimes a team will say something, and then it's like that's gospel.
Right.
And then sometimes, your team will say something. It's like, nah, let's pick this apart. That might be a bunch of coach pick. Yeah, I think that's a great point to bring up. I would not just put in stone what the Dolphins are doing. I do think Tua is really good, and I think they could have something, but how are you not concerned about that right now? I mean, I don't know what more you can find out about that in the offseason.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, other than what he thinks, I mean, if you're him, if you're his family, you got to start becoming concerned, right?
Well, you do, and there's also the football side of it too. If you're the Dolphins, how much longer is Tyreek Hill going to be Tyreek Hill, right? I mean, he's really good, but he's approaching 30. How much longer is the speed that he brings to the table going to be at the same level it's at right now? And then there's Brady's side of things too. We've talked about it. There are problems anywhere you want to look. The Titans have problems. If he decided to go to the Raiders, they have problems. The Falcons, which people are talking about now, they got all sorts of issues. The Dolphins have problems, but the Dolphins also have 2 weapons in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle that the Titans just don't have. And it's not like they're just going to get those guys this offseason. So the football part of it makes some sense too if that became open for Brady.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Brady, the idea of throwing to Waddle and Tyreek Hill next year, I mean, again, you're in the same city with your kids, and you're doing that. Like you said, you've got I think a good offensive mind there as a head coach.
Yeah,
good young team. That's got to be more. I mean, that's way more appealing to you than coming here. And I mean, again, you go to the Kentucky Derby with Mike Vrabel. You can catch up on
which
old
maybe
times.
They'll do this offseason.
Which they may do. And maybe they'll do, and they'll talk about the offense next year
maybe
with the Tennessee Titans.
615-737-1025. We'll take more of your thoughts on Tom Brady. We'll also get into the hiring of Nathaniel Hackett by the New York Jets to be their OC yesterday. Is that simply a ploy to bring Aaron Rodgers into the fold? We'll get into all that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm, his shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5, The Game.
Preds fans, Superbook wants to send one lucky fan a pair of tickets on the ice. Text the keyword Superbook, all one word, to 615-737-1025 for entry to win.
Signs First, Nashville's trusted vehicle wrap and graphics one-stop shop. From one-off custom applications to entire company fleets, Signs First delivers superior quality both locally and nationally since 1991. Be creative. Get noticed. Signs First. Go to sfnash.com.
If you missed the latest from Stillman and Company.
Rand Carthon, Titans general manager. You know, Rand, my old co-host passed away, Floyd Reese, the all-time winningest general manager in the history of the Titans, and his family sent me a message. They said they want you to know that they wish you the very best, and they are rooting hard for you, and rooting hard for you to win 112 games, which would pass his 111.
Please, let the Reese family know that I greatly appreciate it. I have a ton of respect for what Floyd did in his career, and it's funny that you bring them up because I was just standing out in the atrium and I was just looking at, the Hall of Fame names and the retired jerseys and, seeing him and Jeff's name, right there together and being a part of those coach teams that face those teams that they built, it means a lot. And I just want to, come in here with Mike and, create our legacy.
Stillman and Company, weekdays from 2 to 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello,
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
When you want live and local.
If they were just better at the offensive line.
You can be a contender in the AFC again.
They've had more winning seasons than not. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game has you covered. Looking for some national programming?
Why do I want to get a running back like that 5 more years?
The AFC now is so deep at quarterback.
Check out 94.9 The Fan. Nashville's home for all things sports is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and 94.9 The Fan.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, David Janes here with you on this Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll have Teron Davenport coming up at 8 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans, the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode at 7:45, which you can check out every day here on the program. And Rexrode's laughing, which is always dangerous coming back in from break.
Yeah, I gotta just get me off the text line.
Okay.
I'm only going to be texting in Jared from now on, at least for the rest of the day.
In all caps.
Yes.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Will from Brewston. Will, thanks for calling in.
Hey, yeah, I don't remember the exact game last season. I was watching Tampa Bay, and they were down in the fourth quarter, and it was getting late in the game, and they called timeout from the sideline, and I remember Brady waving them back and just having that real ugly, angry look on his face. So how does Vrabel respond to something like that? Y'all have a good day.
Hey, thanks for the call, Will. I mean, I have thought about that, like the dynamic of Brady and Vrabel together. Now, first off, I think it's important to point out, I mean, there's clearly a respect level that the two have for each other. Like, I mean, they're good friends, and I think that there would be a respect level. I also think that, Brady and Vrabel are probably two guys that could handle, like, yelling at each other a little bit. So I'm not really that worried about it. But there's no question, like, coaching Tom Brady is different from coaching Josh Dobbs or even Ryan Tannehill. Like, coaching Tom Brady is a different thing. I mean, with the accomplishments that he's got, I would assume the freedom that he would want as the quarterback of the Titans, and there would probably be some run-ins at some point between Brady and Vrabel.
Think that Vrabel ever like stuff Brady in a locker and knew
maybe.
Him? Yeah, I'm sure that would be the case, but I don't see how that's a problem. Especially if you have the actual foundation of a true friendship.
Yeah,
I mean, like we talk about Tom Brady wanting to go out to Vegas. I mean, that they had some explosive moments.
He and McDaniels, oh yeah,
heck yeah,
they got each other's faces a lot.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you've got the actual relationship, I mean, who doesn't have those conversations at home? I mean, I don't ever get mad or yell at anybody personally. I'm always the one who gets yelled at. But just saying, like, if you actually have a good relationship, then that stuff should be fine. Now we'll make a big deal out of it, and so that complicates it and everything. But I don't think that's a problem. I think it's just the bigger issue is, like, does Brady, to me, first of all, did the Titans want him? I mean, I don't know that, but also does he want to come to this outfit?
Right. And is there, if you're Tom Brady, is there a reason beyond Mike Vrabel that you want to come here, right? That's what it ultimately comes down to. Like,
and the defense would be, I think, a selling point.
The defense would be a selling point. You've got Traylon Burks, who's a good young player. I mean, there's a way that you could talk through a plan of, all right, we're going to rebuild the offensive line. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to get you another weapon as a wide receiver, Chig Okonkwo. We like him. We think he could be a really good tight end. I mean, and we've got Derrick Henry. Like, there's a way you could talk through, like, the offense
Craig
being
Ackerman.
significantly. Yeah, Craig Ackerman's still on staff. Really appreciate him. There's a way you could talk through the offense if you're the Titans and try to sell it. Now, would he buy it? I don't know. But, I mean, there's a way you could talk it through to him if you really wanted to. We're going to do this, this, and this to improve the offense as we move forward here.
So it's a lot of talking.
It's a lot of
you
talking.
can do it. But, yeah, that's a lot. And I think the biggest concern, well, two things. I mean, the two biggest concerns, they directly affect him, right? Because Brady's playing for a ring, but also I think Brady probably doesn't want to go and have some terrible final season where he actually looks his age. And if you do not have a significantly upgraded offensive line here, that's a distinct possibility. And again, it's just he's been throwing to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and, well, Julio Jones a little bit actually this year. But I mean, Miller. I mean, he's Gronk,
Russell Gage. Yep.
Right. And he's looking at, like we just talked about, you got Devontae Adams over there, you got Hill and Waddle over here. Hey, Traylon Burks might be good someday. Yeah. I know he loves Vrabel and all, but we'll get you another weapon. But again, the question is who? It's just not a great year on either front, free agency or draft. So you can try to trade for somebody. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that if you're Brady, examining these teams closely, as he is no doubt doing, that are going to be red flags for him, I would think.
Alex from Montreal says, think about how cool Vray would sound. Then there's Maddie on the text line that said, did you say Brabel? That may be their bro marriage name, I guess. Brabel.
Is Brabel or Vrady better?
I kind of like Vrady.
I like Vrady.
I like Vrady.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to text you back in Jared, all caps. It's like Brady Hoke. I really think I can be your football coach.
God, I forgot about that. That was so awesome. Oh, shout out to Brady Hoke. They're on the program. And then there's the New York Jets, Joe. And they have hired Nathaniel Hackett to be their offensive coordinator, which a lot of people are saying, oh, man, they're making a push to go get Rodgers. They want Hackett as the OC. They're going to make a trade for Rodgers. Now, look, I think he's a good offensive coordinator. From everything coming out of Green Bay, he had a lot to do with their red zone success a couple of years ago, game plan, all that stuff. Now, as I pointed out earlier, he didn't call plays. So there is that you have to factor in as you move forward. But Nathaniel Hackett goes from head coach of the Denver Broncos, didn't make it a full season, now the OC in New York. Do you think this is a ploy by the Jets to set themselves up for maybe a potential trade partner to go get Aaron Rodgers? And if you're the Jets, I think everybody would agree they need an upgraded quarterback. What would you rather do if you're a Jets fan? Would you rather trade to go get Rodgers and pay probably at least one first-round pick and the price that Rodgers has attached to him, which is nearly $60 million for next year? Now, maybe that gets reworked, but we'll see. Or would you rather just say, you know what? We're going to make a pitch for Tom Brady in free agency. Which one would you rather do if you're the Jets?
I would want Rodgers. I mean, at this point, I would. The difference in rings and all that stuff. I think right now the difference in deterioration of human body. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. So Connor Hughes, friend of the show, I believe. Yes. I used to work with him at The Athletic. He now works for SNY TV covering the Jets and Giants. This is his tweet. Quote, Nathaniel Hackett could be sitting on a beach collecting millions for the next 4 years. You telling me he signed on for the pressure of being New York's OC without knowing damn well who his QB is? He'd be a fool to risk further tarnishing his rep to coach Wilson, Tannehill, or Jimmy G, end quote. Suggesting that, I mean, there's a lot. He went on a tweet storm yesterday that essentially he believes that Hackett only did this because this is happening. I don't know how you could know that. I don't know how you could have assurances of that, right? And again, let's remember last year when the initial Broncos. I mean, it was, now we know where Aaron's going to be, right?
Right. Look, Aaron Rodgers really likes Nathaniel Hackett. He's made that clear. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is choosing like the destination of where he plays based on where Nathaniel Hackett is. I think we learned that last year, right?
Nathaniel! Yeah. Here's another Connor Hughes tweet. Quote, Jets first linked to Hackett after LaFleur's party and didn't seem smart after what happened in Denver. I dug some on that. Dysfunctional doesn't begin to describe Broncos. It had nothing to do with the head coach. This is a very good hire. If it means Aaron Rodgers, incredible, end quote. So nothing's on Hackett.
I can't get to the nothing being on Hackett. I'm not saying that there wasn't dysfunction in Denver. I have no idea. I can't get to nothing being on Hackett. I mean, you wanted to fire him after the first game.
I mean, what he did to the clock in the first game of his coaching tenure was like when I stepped on my Swatch in 1985 and destroyed it. That alone was fireable.
I know. You came and fired him the next day.
I did. Yeah, that was my rant, right? Like, you have to fire him right now. I wasn't too far off.
No, you weren't. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I know there's going to be – I would imagine – look, if you're the Packers – and you're trading Aaron Rodgers, you can't really do anything for the next little while here. And free agency doesn't begin for another couple of months. So buckle up for Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers gate throughout the rest of this NFL offseason. It's going to be fun.
What is this league? I mean, I shouldn't say this. I was going to say, what is this league going to do when these guys finally retire? But it'll just be new names.
Oh, yeah.
The quarterback soap opera now that the NFL's created, it's like you already dominated the offseason enough, but look at this.
Pretty amazing. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it's time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. This is Robby and Rexrode here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
185! Every team needs a quarterback.
185!
That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown.
Tim.
You can run good plays at the right time.
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
You evaluate players, and then you're turning them over to the coaching staff.
Every Tuesday at noon.
At the right time.
With Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Tim on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared with my friends at Hiller. Kick off the new year with new upgrades for your home. This month, when you buy something you need for your home, Hiller will give you something you want. Pick your prize. Get a free 55-inch TV, Apple iPad, Solo Stove, or Nintendo Switch when you purchase new whole home generators or select new HVAC systems. Or a free 55-inch TV, Nintendo Switch, or Solo Stove when you upgrade to a new tankless water heater. There's no better time to take care of necessary home replacements, so call Hiller. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. This year especially, we know price matters, and we're committed to delivering the best value every day. We've also brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, things you can't find anywhere else. And of course, Genesis is proud to offer a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular models in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2023 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
If you missed the latest from Stillman and Company.
Jacksonville, to me, they're just an average team. The only reason they won the division is because the NFL somehow ruled that Josh Dobbs ball that they called a fumble was a fumble when the Josh Allen ball was not a fumble. Now, I thought they were both fumbles, but to me, it's the same play. And the NFL just decided one week that, we're going to call that a fumble. And the next week, they're going to say, that's an incomplete pass. And I'll get to that in a second. But the Jacksonville thing, you guys know that when I am worried about something or I am worried about someone, specifically someone the Titans are going to have to play or somebody that is in the Titans or Predators division, I will let you know about it. I am not worried about Jacksonville long term. They're a fine team.
Stillman and Company, weekdays from 2 to 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
More than 95% of people incarcerated will come home like I did. I'm William Arnold, director of the new Tennessee Office of Reentry. When they come home, we want to be ready to help remove barriers to employment. It's okay if you've been incarcerated or justice involved. Help is available. Go to tnworkready.com or visit your local American Job Center.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
tnworkready.com.
One is smart.
This has just been a constant trend for this team.
One is funny.
That's right.
Funny looking, maybe. Chase and Michelle with Chase McCabe and Michelle Knezovic.
Are you listening?
I'm listening.
Everybody's listening.
Weekdays from 9 to 11. Presented by Hair Club. Hair Club. Love your hair. Live your life. On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Would like a world of change. It helps me to appreciate.
And it is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode here on the program. You can check it out every morning at 7:45. Joe Rexrode with Creed in the background. I turn things over to you.
I think what I should do is just read all my all-caps texts that are supposed to be by Jared in a row here. I'm smacking people with my big hands and...
Well, thanks to you, I found the Brady Hoke all-capitalized text to John Curry. John, I hope you do know I would like to be your head football coach. I do know the environment we live in and what needs to be done at Tennessee. End quote. All capital text.
And you read it correctly.
Yeah.
Because there's no punctuation
No
in there.
punctuation. No punctuation at all.
Also got Jared yelling here.
I'm surprised he didn't get hired.
I mean, I tell you what, man. Just keep at it, Brady. Keep at it. Where is Brady Hoke?
I have no idea.
I think he might is he someone's O-line coach, maybe?
Maybe. Let me double check.
I also have Jared on the text line in all caps denying that he watches a certain show with the second word manner.
Yes.
So, good times. But what I'm going to do is I guess I'm going to read one of my old columns. You know, it's like reliving the glory days.
By the way, head coach at San Diego State.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm stupid. Yeah, that's right. He went back. Full circle. So it's where he was when he got the Michigan job. Full circle. Congrats, Brady. Congrats, Brady! But this whole Gino Auriemma thing last night with his little whiny, is it when you come down here? It got me all mad again. Again, Gino Auriemma is someone I obviously respect as a coach. I think we all should respect him as a coach. He's a great coach, and I think he's been a great ambassador for a sport I love, women's basketball, and so I appreciate that. But I got to say, this still pisses me off, and last night triggered me again. And I think I might make this an annual thing on this show, which will be tough as we move forward because Chase is going to cut us down to 9 minutes a day, and I'm going to have to be shorter with it. However, I went back and revisited a column from August 4th, 2016 I wrote for the Tennessean because I was actually flying down to Rio de Janeiro to cover the Olympics. I actually was we had just found out the committee, the committee, that puts together the Olympic team had left Candace Parker off the roster.
Yep.
And when that happened, immediately it became a Tennessee-UConn thing. But what it was a personal thing. Gino Auriemma doesn't like Candace Parker or didn't like her then, okay? It was purely a personal thing. And yet, what they did is they said that he did not. So I'm going to read this. In fact, I'm just going to read it, okay? Quote, why is Candace Parker not on this team? That's what I asked Gino Auriemma, right after I got there, because they had a big press conference. He said, this is his quote, because I guess the committee looked at this team right here and said, we don't know who to take off. Okay? This is a 5-person selection committee.
Yes.
Okay? So then my question was, you had no input on that? And he said, I don't get a vote. So then I said, so you were surprised then that she was left off the roster? Here's his quote. Yes and no, I guess. I was surprised by some of the selections in 2012 and I didn't expect. So in the end, we've got the team that's sent here to win the gold medal, and that's what matters. End quote. He obviously. Okay, no, here we go. And then I asked, and this is like this press conference, by the way, where it's yay, the team, and it's like they're all there. And again, it's it sucks that it had to be this had to be part of it because it should have been just a celebration of this team and just a normal press conference.
Rexrode was bringing the noise to that press conference.
He had no idea who I was, and he was just like, who the hell is this jackass? So I said, so what is it like to coach a team that's chosen by others? He said, quote, well, I think you get an opinion, but in the end, they close the door and they make the decision. So you do get an opinion, Gino. All right, there you go. Right there for you. Just utterly ridiculous. And again, you have to go back to 2016. They were going to win the gold either way, okay? Yes. Candace Parker was 30. She was averaging 16, 4, 7, 1, and 5, 1. 16.4 points, 7.1 rebounds, 5.1 assists a game for the LA Sparks. She was at the top of her game. And, Brianna Stewart, it was probably the replacement who's a UConn player. There were 5 UConn players. Tamika Catchings was the only Tennessee player. But it's not that. It's not UConn, Tennessee. He had a personal problem with someone, so he denied basketball fans, again, one of 2 people that everybody wanted to see then, which was Parker and Taurasi.
Correct.
And Bird, great too. But honestly, those are the 2 biggest draws. We already knew the outcome of the tournament, and Gino Auriemma, because he doesn't like someone, decided to leave her off the Olympic team. And then, like a coward, hide behind this freaking committee and try to say that they're the ones, I had no idea. Oh, my goodness, what happened here? Just utterly pathetic. And it's a story that I will continue to tell my grandkids. They won't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell it to them because it's ridiculous and it needs to be said. So there you go. An annual rant about Gino Auriemma.
Well, I don't know that we've ever gotten the behind-the-scenes detail on the questions that you asked and the capital J journalism work that took place to really pin Gino Auriemma down. Well done, Rexrode.
I got to say.
This is not going to be a celebratory press conference. We're getting after the issues here.
This is kind of a humble brag, right? I'm ranting about Gino Auriemma, but I'm kind of proud of myself for the questions I asked and the column I wrote. I'm reading this column and I'm reliving it.
I got him.
Let me read the close of the column since we're just we're living the glory days.
Let's do it.
So I went to Tamika Catchings and I asked her if this was tough for her that Candace was left off. It's a tough question because she's sitting there and she's playing for Gino and they're playing for a gold. They're going to win the gold. They won the gold. Okay, this is her quote. This is the end of the column. Quote, yeah, Catching said, then paused and repeated, yeah, and I was hurt by it. But of course it's different. It's not actually me going through it. But Candace has always been classy, so I'm proud of her and the way she handled it, not making it a big deal, end quote. And then this is the last line of the column. This is, after all, Team USA. It is bigger than one person. Someone should tell the coach.
Oh, man.
Have some of that,
man.
Gino.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so this has been one big humble brag. Reliving a column from 7 years ago. But seriously, I'm still mad about it.
Joe Rexrode.
There you go. There you go. I mean, everybody should still be mad about this because it's pathetic to do this, to make it really about you and to have a personal hang-up with someone, rob other people of joy.
Well, and look, Gino Auriemma, like I said earlier, obviously, great coach, great basketball coach. We all know the type of coach that he is. You wouldn't be able to be as good of a coach as he is if you aren't able to connect with people on some level. So it's not like he's just some permanent jerk running around all the time. But, man, outwardly sometimes he seems like he's such an unlikable person. He really does.
Well, and, Pat Summitt and Gino, eventually it got bad. And I think that's his fault.
I would say so.
From my understanding.
I would say so. So, now the other side of this is they played last night, and at halftime, what was it, 40-36? You're like, huh? Okay. And then it got away from Tennessee a little bit later.
Yeah. I mean, they're not ranked. They're banged up. They don't have, their post. And UConn is banged up too, to be fair, but they're just a much better team right now. So, yeah, they hung in for a while, and then it kind of got away from them. So
could we be getting close to maybe a revisiting of this with you and Gino Auriemma? You go find a press conference at some point, and I want to talk about Candace Parker.
No, but he did come here for Vandy UConn a few years ago,
yes.
And I wrote another and then he ripped. He was ripping the culture at Tennessee because they got Avina Westbrook transferred to him, and so I did get a chance to rip him then. So hopefully we will have a chance to come back soon, Gino.
This has been the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter and host of Talking with TD. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans, some decisions that Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel have to make this offseason, and we'll get his opinion on the Tom Brady situation as well. All that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You love the game.
Tennessee touchdown! Middle Tennessee gets the score.
We live the game.
Just work on the little things every day.
They think the coaches are just coaches.
We are.
Ranks and he scores!
On both sides of the ball.
One big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Time for the Preds Report.
Presented by Newton Nissan.
The Nashville Predators had a real challenge in New Jersey's doubles at Bridgestone Arena last night. Predators found themselves tied at 2 at the end of 1, tied at 3 at the end of 2, and then in the third period, they got the go-ahead goal. The shot taken by Duchesne, he scores! Matt Duchesne on the rebound gives the Predators a 4-3 lead. Matt Duchesne picking up his 14th from Roman Josi, a 4-3 lead for the Predators there. Later, Philip Forsberg and Tanner Jeannot into an empty net as the Predators would go on to win the game by a 6-4 count. Next up for the Predators, February 7th here against the Vegas Golden Knights. Hope you can join us then. This is Pete Weber reporting on the Fifth Third Bank Nashville Predators Radio Network.
All the best car deals in Smashville start at Newton Nissan. Visit them at Newton Nissan of Gallatin or Newton Nissan South in Shelbyville.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
No problem, sweetie.
I can't believe you're able to fit everything in that little sedan.
Bye!
When they move out, you can move on to a house that fits your life. It's time to live in a space that fits your family.
Let Regal Realty Group get you into a home that is less to take care of. Save money or even make money on the sale of your current home. Call 1-833-OUTKICK.
The 17th Annual Father and Son Bowl is February 11th. This event is a fun day of flag football, tailgate food, door prizes, a skill zone, and more. Every year sells out, so register now. Go to fathersonbowl.com. That's fathersonbowl.com.
Blue 22.
Those are sports sounds. And people love sports so much, it makes them pay attention when I say, drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
It's way back. It's out of here.
And we all know how sports fans feel about big saves.
What a save.
See what I did there? Save is also a sports word. So save big when you switch to Progressive. Ooh, that's a golf clap.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
When Smashville wants to rock.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Looking to the sky to save me, looking for a sign of life, 'cause it's too cold for you here.
We are Nashville's rock station. 102.9 The Buzz.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robby and Rexrode. Chase and Michelle.
Caroline, Willie, D-Base.
Stone Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
102.5 and 106.3.
Crank City scores.
On both sides of the ball. One big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. And I messed up TD's intro, but that's okay.
ESPN
Boom.
Turon Davenport. Talking
There we go.
Titans now.
Chalk that one
on
up to
Robby
me.
and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Well, after murdering TD's intro there, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter and host of Talking with TD. TD, that's a violation on my part. I apologize.
You know what? It's all good. We got the woo in there, but you gave me a chance to get a BIG reference, too. You murdered the intro, but this
Nice.
And just like that, Teron Davenport with the save, as he usually does here on the program. TD, good to have you with us here on this Friday morning. What do you make of, we just had Jared on last hour, the idea of Tom Brady as the next quarterback of the Tennessee Titans? What do you view, I guess, the opportunity there? Does it make sense from the Titans side? Does it make sense from Brady's side? What do you make, I guess, of the whole conversation?
Well, I tell you what, we all know what is going through Jared's mind when he closes his eyes and starts snoring. It's Tom Brady to the Patriots, to the Titans, rather. He wants that to happen so badly. But, I mean, I think if you look at it, obviously it's possible. And he doesn't have a bunch of options, but, I mean, let's be realistic here. What really does he have incentive-wise to come to the Titans? This is a team that is desperately in need of talent as far as the skill position is concerned, offensive line is concerned. And I think Rand Carthon is going to do an excellent job, but, I mean, he's not a miracle worker. Rome wasn't built in a night, so he's going to have to – do some things to eventually get this roster right. But I say all that to say, Tom Brady, I don't see him coming to the Titans because of the lack of things that he needs in place to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, that's we were just talking about that, DD. I mean, you still, to me, if you're him, you are continuing to play for a ring, and so you got to show me, that you can fix a lot of things. So speaking of that, regardless of who's quarterback, this is a question we've kind of been batting around this week. What do you think is more difficult for the Titans to fix in this offseason, the offensive line or the receiving core?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think, and Jared asked me this yesterday as well, I think it's the receiving core just because of the fact that there's more. You have really good options in free agency and the draft to fix the offensive line, right? You look at some of these guys, the top-end tackles, and we know who the three are. You look at those guys, those are options right there in the draft, and at pick 11, they should be able to get one of those. But then you look at free agency, you have some options as well. Obviously, Mike McGlinchey is a guy that continues to be mentioned, especially since Rand Carthon came here from San Francisco, but I doubt he leaves the Bay. But you do have Andre Dillard. There are some other options as well. So I think, long story short, offensive line is the easier position to fix. And then not to mention, this draft is chock full of guards. And you obviously are going to need to address that as well. So I think offensive line is the easier one to get fixed.
TD, from the press conference last week to this week and conversations you've had and everything you've learned, what have been your impressions of Rand Carthon to this point?
I think he's brilliant. And I listened to Chris Long's podcast the other night, last night, in fact. And he said Rand, he asked Carthon about, just his path and everything like that. And one of the things that stood out to me was, so towards the end of his career, like his last year where he was in the mix as far as playing in the league, he was taking tryouts not to make the team, but to meet GMs. And it turned out that's how he met Les Snead, and that he parlayed that into his first job with the Falcons. I thought that was brilliant. But then you continue to hear nothing but good things about him. So that's something to be excited about. I do really like, the fact that he is looking at blending analytics and film study. That's really good. I mean, it's been nothing but impressive. Now, obviously, it's the honeymoon stage for everyone, so we'll see how that continues to work. But I've been nothing but impressed with him.
Yeah, that was a great story on that. That was, and then basically that's how Les Snead found him, right? So.
Right.
Yeah, that's a really good story. So you just hit on something I wanted to ask you about, TD, analytics, because obviously he told that story at his presser last week on Elijah Mitchell and the collaboration that they all took part in to get a player who ended up being really, a heck of a pick at that spot. Do you think, because I think, was it you who asked Vrabel about the analytics at his end of season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he, may have been a little bit defensive there, but do you think that there's going to be a significant uptick in I know the Titans haven't formally had as much analytics as other teams, but do you think actual usage of it will be significantly increased in the building?
I think it will be increased. I don't know about significantly, because that's one of the other things I like about Rand, what he said. He's going to go in there and learn the process and then add his flavor to it. So I think, that being said, you'll see a gradual uptick in analytics. But, here's the thing. Even though, Mike Vrabel went on a bit of a rant when, we had the back and forth about that, they do a lot of that already as far as practice is concerned. And that's something I've always asked them, how they go about managing reps and, getting a guy to be practice to games, But the thing that I'm curious about is to see how it influences game decisions. And I think, analytics has a place, but especially like a classic coach like Mike Vrabel, that gut is always going to overcome analytics, so I'm not sure how it's going to get involved in game planning, actual game time decisions, but I think it is going to be more involved with draft and things like that, because, as you mentioned, that story that he told about Elijah Mitchell, who rushed for almost 1,000 yards in 11 games as a rookie 6th-round pick.
Teron Davenport with us here on Robby and Rexrode. And TD, we kind of batted this around yesterday. How do you view the Titans secondary as they move forward? By the numbers, they were the worst pass defense in terms of yardage given up in the league this year. Now, they were also the best defense against the run, and teams at some point just eventually stopped trying to run the ball against the Titans, so that factors in as well. There were injuries. There's a lot of things we can talk about, but you've got Christian Fulton and the injury issues that he's dealt with. obviously Elijah Molden, barely saw him at all this year. How do you view where they are with their secondary as they move forward here?
Yeah, well, Chris had a series of soft tissues. The hamstring, he dealt with that all year, and then the groin as a result of the hamstring. I know Vrabel had questioned him and kind of said when he mentioned Fulton and David Long Jr., said about being, professional football players. I would say this about Chris. He puts in a lot of work. And I know, NXT training, these guys, they work with Jamar Chase, Tyrann Mathieu, a bunch of guys in the Louisiana area. He's down there putting in work. I know that. And sometimes you just have those injuries. But I think when you look at the secondary, Roger McCreary, he had a rocky up and down type of year, good for a stretch and had some trouble. But I think when you look at them overall, you got to also factor in the pass rush because the front end is always supposed to help the back end and vice versa. Let's be honest about it. But I think it goes beyond just the secondary because I feel they have the talent there. I feel Fulton's talented. McCreary's talented. Molden, when healthy, is talented. We know about the safeties. I think they should look at bringing Josh Kalu, Lonnie Johnson back to give them that depth there. But there's going to be guys that you could come across in this draft, nickel-wise. You look at Jamie Robinson, who is from Florida State. I watched him 2 days ago, and yeah, if they could bring a guy like that in, that'd give them depth at that nickel spot, along with Elijah Molden. So for me, it's adding. I don't think they need to add top-end pieces, but they could add, players that could help. Because I feel they have the top-end guys in McCreary and Fulton. And we'll see what Farley is when he comes back because, he had his issues. He told me that the pinched nerve in his back was keeping him from being able to trigger his calves like that. But he said that he's good now when I talked to him at locker cleanout. So you still have that in the mix. Who knows? Maybe he could develop into a player.
Yeah, and that's, the thing with Fulton is, I have no doubt. That guy, he works hard, he wants to be great, he's a good player. But you wonder, some guys just are prone to injury, right? That's the thing. There's some things you can't control, even on the soft tissue front, which is a concern. But I feel like obviously I think if they have Fulton and Molden healthy next year, I like the group a lot. But you mentioned pass rush, TD. A few weeks ago, I guess in my mind it was like, yeah, Bud Dupree. It's not working out, and you got to move on. But as I've thought about it, I don't know that I am right there because although it's a huge cap hit, it is still a big dead money number. And if you do move on from Bud Dupree, then you're looking at Weaver and, Landry coming back and a serious need for a starting level player, I feel like, at the edge. So how do you view just the Bud Dupree decision right now?
Yeah, Bud's one of my favorite guys on the team, you know what I mean, to interact with and talk to. So you try not to be biased, but I think, when you look at that number, it's big. And if they could figure out a way to get that more manageable, and the thing that's good about this and talking to Bud, he understands what it is. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. I just think you bring him back. You have to, like I said, you have to make that number manageable. You have to because Landry, he's going to be back, but we know what happens when you come back from an ACL. It's not exactly going to be the same Harold Landry that we've seen over the years. So you're going to need depth. And Rashad Weaver is a up-and-coming young player. Danico Autry, you could bounce him outside as well. But I definitely think that Bud should be back.
All right, TD, last thing for you here. Who you got this weekend between San Francisco and Philadelphia, and then in the AFC with Cincinnati and Kansas City as well?
Hey, man, you know what the shirts say, man. You see the black shirts with the green writing on it. It's a Philly thing, man.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to be able to do anything with – listen, this Eagles, you talk about pass rush, they had 72 sacks. One team had more sacks than them in the history of the NFL, the 85 Bears. that pass rush is legit. And you hear that trash that my guy BG, Brandon Graham, always talks. He's going to be bringing it to the Lincoln Financial Field is going to be so live, man. I would love to be there in that stadium. They're not losing that game. They're not losing that. So I'm going with the Eagles. In fact, I'll take the Eagles all the way. On the other side, I think Cincinnati is going to continue to make that Burrowhead Stadium. And I don't think Mahomes is going to be able to be himself with that ankle, but, we'll see what happens there.
I feel better about my picks.
You
Same
do?
picks.
Same picks as Joe Rexrode. TD, great stuff as always. I apologize for screwing up your intro. I'll be better next week, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, for sure. I appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
That's Teron Davenport, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Take your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Every Wednesday at noon.
That fits the mentality of what they're going to do.
Outkick 360's Jonathan Hutton joins Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace to talk all things Titans and NFL.
Much more creative in how you go about calling certain plays.
He's got opinions and insights on the two-tone blue.
That doesn't mean that you can't have great or don't need great quarterback play.
Catch Hutton every Wednesday at noon on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Preds fans, Superbook wants to send one lucky fan a pair of tickets on the ice. Text the keyword Superbook, all one word, to 615-737-1025 for entry to win.
Al Gill here from my friends at Dunkin'. Warm up and feel the love with Dunkin'. Treat yourself and a loved one to a brown butter toffee hot or iced latte, which is superb paired with the bacon avocado tomato sandwich. Be sure to try the all-new stuffed biscuit bites. It's a warm biscuit dough wrapped around a mixture of bacon, scrambled egg, and cheddar cheese. Visit us at our newly remodeled Dunkin' on Briley Parkway in Nashville or the new Dunkin' in Mount Juliet and our other locations throughout Middle Tennessee. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
When you want to rock.
Let's go, don't wait. This night's almost over. Do all the monsters come out at night? Why do we sleep when we want to?
We are Nashville's rock station. 102.9 The Buzz.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. Well, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Motors Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Want to weigh in on the conversation?
It's a brain booster.
Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from the 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Thanks to Teron Davenport for joining us in the last segment. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. I was interested to get TD's thoughts there on the secondary. You know, he talked about the work Christian Fulton puts in. It's one of those things that, you know, that's going to be something they got to figure out as they move forward here with what to do there. I do wonder how they view Elijah Molden right now. First year, I thought he came in. It was rough at first. And then as the season went on, I thought he got better and looked pretty good out there. And then last year, I mean, he basically just wasn't on the field. So how do you view Elijah Molden if you're the Titans as you move forward? And do you consider maybe drafting somebody for that nickel spot if you find somebody in the third or fourth round this year to maybe come in and compete with Molden at that spot? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they view that. There's a lot of holes to fill outside of nickel corner that they got to worry about too.
Yeah, I would think if they sign a corner, it's more of an outside corner because I do think that McCreary could end up being I mean, McCreary had to play on the outside this year pretty much. And he was a rookie, and it's a little better for a rookie to be on the outside. I feel like McCreary could be a good nickel corner moving forward. I mean, I think he's versatile to play both. So I think if you draft – so to me, that's two guys who can play that position also. You know, Monty Hooker, not a bad nickel corner too when they need him to be. So
we draft a safety.
I mean, there's just so many things that you could draft. I mean, I got asked unnamed, but like, do the Titans need a middle linebacker? If so, what are your thoughts on taking one in the second round? Maybe Noah Sewell from Oregon. I'm like, well, they need to re-sign David Long. That I am absolutely adamant on that. And they need Monty Rice to third round pick. You know, it's his time.
To go.
And I thought he started to show that a little bit. I think Cunningham is an easy cut. I think that's happening. And then Dylan Cole is around. He gave him some good play. Jack Gibbons gave him some good play. But let's also remember, Chance Campbell in camp was absolutely ahead of Jack Gibbons, for example, and he was hurt all year. So you have to consider him too. They don't need to – if they sign Long, no, you don't there's no high picks at that spot. Like, you've got way more urgent needs.
Probably don't need to be any picks at that spot if they sign David Long. I mean,
I agree.
That's the way I view it. And like you said, Monty
unless
Rice,
they're really worried about Monty Rice.
Right. But I mean, Monty Rice, your third round pick. It's time to be a starter next year if you're Monty Rice for this defense. And I agree. I think Zach Cunningham might be the easiest cut they have. I mean, well, Taylor Lewan's the easiest cut they have just because the dead money attached to it is nothing.
Right.
But Zach Cunningham after that is probably the easiest cut they have.
I think those are the only two no-brainers. I was kind of in more of the Dupree Woods. And I think certainly all four could happen, but I'm hedging a little bit on both of those. Interesting thought by TD, and I think it makes sense. If you can get Bud Dupree back and you can redo his deal, then I think it's just like you have a pretty glaring need if he's not there. Now, I know the answer is going to be, well, when is he playing?
Right.
He's never healthy, and that's a totally fair thing to bring up with him, with Fulton, with a lot of people.
Well, but
this roster.
Let's say they cut him and he's not there. Like, do you feel comfortable with Rashad Weaver being the starter next to Harold Landry?
If you have a really good third option.
Right.
So that who is currently not around. So that probably necessitates a somewhat prominent pick, I think. If that's the way you go.
Well, I'd agree. So, like, Rashad Weaver, I think he was fine. Like, he made some plays. He had a couple fumble recoveries, made some sacks. But he was just how often did you really notice Rashad Weaver blowing things up out there? Not very often. And then there's the other part of it. Like, what happens if somebody gets hurt? I mean, like, if Harold Landry gets hurt again or if Weaver goes down, if you don't have Dupree there, what do you really have at that spot? I mean, you're probably going to have to address that position in some form or fashion this offseason, regardless of whether or not Dupree's there. But especially if he's not there, it becomes a necessity at that point to address it.
Right, because like TD said, you got to be realistic with Harold Landry too. We saw Bud Dupree last year coming off the ACL, and that's the thing. If you could take Bud Dupree late season – Kansas City game, which was more like midseason, but some of the other late season of the Bengals game in the playoffs. If you could have that for a full season, then you absolutely sign up for that, especially given what you just discussed with the depth situation. But yeah, Landry, you would have to think would at least need some ramp up time, right, to get back into top form if he does get back into top form next year.
Well, and then there's Danico Autry, right? And I said this heading into last year. at what point does the age start to be a concern? He's 32 years old. He'll be 33 next year. Does that start to go the other way next year? I mean, I don't know. I thought there was a chance that could happen this year. It didn't. When he was on the field, he was great. Now, he did get the injury, but that one didn't have anything to do with his age out there. It was just an injury that happened in the Green Bay game. But when he was out there, he was sensational for the Titans. So I would expect he'll be back and he'll be good next year. But he will be 33. And at what point does it start to go the other way? Like, if he's going to be back, they need him to be every bit as good as he's been the last 2 years.
Yeah. I think his contract probably ended up being perfect. It's his third year of a 3-year deal, and you have to expect him to be at least good, and the Titans need that. I didn't see any fall off. He is an intense, physical, disruptive, violent player. So Simmons and Autry have got to lead the charge again next year.
Santa in Portland on the text line says, if Lawan had any honor and respect for the Titans, he would agree to play 2 years at a league minimum. That's from Santa in Portland on the text line.
Yeah, 2 years.
Guys, league minimum, I'll be here.
Guys,
be your
how
left
about
tackle.
free? How about just for free?
I've robbed you of money the last 3 years. I'll take 2 years at league minimum.
I think their buffet is pretty good in the building,
I'm sure it is.
It's a good buffet. Get some good gear. Get to hang out with your buddies.
The boys?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've got you. You've got me concerned a little bit just with the text line and your behavior on the text line today. How many people actually think that they're like in a screaming match with our good friend Jared Stillman?
I don't know. I had a really good one. Where is that one? I just had a really good one that I was very proud of. I've lost it. But someone asked if we could do a
it's Raymond.
Oh, it's Raymond. There we go. Yeah, if we could do another hour, and I said in all caps, they don't get to do that, but I will do 5 hours today. Make sure to tune in. Jared.
Oh, man. I just hope people know that it's – actually, you know what? I kind of hope people
Jared
don't know.
We've conflated Jared and Brady Hoke today, which I'm pretty excited about.
I mean, we should be pretty excited about. Just all caps text messages yelling around everywhere.
I'm never going to stop doing this.
I hope this is a trend that continues into the distant future. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em. The AFC and NFC title games coming up this weekend. We'll do that next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
I think it's a really good move. TD, it's never the offseason for ESPN's Teron Davenport. I mean, that's something you obviously have to look at. He's always talking about what's next for the Tennessee Titans. Quarterback is a really important thing that they have to get determined. Check out TD, Mondays at 1, Thursdays at 3, and Friday mornings at 8:30. Plus, the Talkin' with TD podcast. Looking forward to that. TD is on 102.5 and 106.3, The Game.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Now is a fantastic time to sell in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. And no one has better intel than the Gary Ashton team. You may be wondering, what is this intel I keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel on where to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Everyone else is getting the same information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. No one else even comes close. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent for the Preds. Get the confidence to sell your home and find your dream address without the stress. Call the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Hey, it's Jared with my friends at Hiller.
Kick off the new year with new upgrades for your home. This month, when you buy something you need for your home, Hiller will give you something you want. Pick your prize. Get a free 55-inch TV, Apple iPad, Solo Stove, or Nintendo Switch when you purchase new whole home generators or select new HVAC systems. Or a free 55-inch TV, Nintendo Switch, or Solo Stove when you upgrade to a new tankless water heater. There's no better time to take care of necessary home replacements, so call Hiller. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about a Govix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with a Govix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
1025 and 1063, The Game is live and local.
And now, let's meet the starting lineups.
Robby and Rexrode 6 to 9.
You are talking about a team that's building a roster.
Chase and Michelle 9 to 11.
He's still under contract.
It's not always X's and O's.
Caroline, Willie, and D Mace 11 to 2.
Trades, free agents.
Let's get it going. I think this is a good hire.
And Stillman and Company 2 to 6.
I can give you one of the best coaches in the league.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Nashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063, The Game.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025, The Game.
Now, it's time for Pigskin Pick'em with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the day, time for Pigskin Pick'em here on Robby and Rexrode. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, David Janes here with you on this Friday morning. The AFC and NFC title games this weekend, and the competition in Pigskin Pick'em is fierce heading into the AFC NFC title game, and then, of course, the Super Bowl where we'll round things out in the competition. The quick standings update: Michelle Knezovic remains in first place, 62-58 overall, 11-9 on her locks, good for 73 points. Robbie Stanley in second place, 64-56 overall, 8-12 on my locks, 72 points. So 1 point behind Michelle heading into action this weekend.
Man.
Joe Rexrode, 45-75.
You don't need to say it.
6-14 on his locks, good for 51 points. So Joe only trailing me by 21 points in the competition. Joe, your thoughts?
I have nothing to say. I'm gonna go. Let me go back to the text line and pretend to be Jared. Okay, makes me feel better about myself.
Joe with a nice 2-4 week a week ago.
Hey, it's actually pretty good for me.
It is. With that in mind, let's get things rolling here today. Michelle Knezovic obviously not here today, but she has sent in her picks. We begin with the 49ers and the Eagles. Eagles favored by 2.5 in this game. Michelle going with Philadelphia at home, minus the 2.5. So Michelle going with the Eagles. And Joe, your favorite. I am in direct opposition to her to begin play here in the competition. I've been riding with San Francisco the whole time. I'm not going to jump off the train now. Give me Brock Purdy and the 49ers plus the 2.5 on the road, taking on the Eagles, and I think San Francisco will win the game outright. So I'm going San Francisco plus the 2.5. Joe Rexrode, Eagles minus 2.5 coming up in the NFC title game.
It's almost to the point where it's like with Duchesne. I decided not to pick him yesterday, so he scores.
Yeah.
So I feel like whoever I pick, I'm jinxing them, which you believe in. So,
sure.
But now I absolutely think the Eagles are going to win this game. I don't know. I mean, TD is more bullish than me, but no, I definitely like the Eagles at home. Is it my lock? I'm not going to make it my lock.
Okay.
I don't want to, I'll lock something dumb.
Okay. David, Eagles minus 2.5 in this game. Who are you going with?
It's hard not to go with the Birds. I'm going Birds.
Okay. I'm the only one taking the Niners in this matchup.
I mean, it's
Robbie, it is a pretty good pick.
Oh, okay.
Had to.
Man, that was a Rexrode joke right there if I've ever seen one. That's good.
Yeah, man. You've been hanging out with me too much.
Too long.
Just a little bit.
49ers and the Eagles will stay with the same game. The over-under at 46.5. I want to point out, I took the under in both matchups last week. Nailed it on both of them. 46.5. I'll start on this one. I'm going to go with the under again. I think it's going to be a defensive battle between the Eagles and the Niners, so I will go under 46.5. Joe, you're up next in the competition.
Also,
over under 46.5.
Yep, under 2
going
for
with
me.
Under. Michelle's going over. Michelle's going a little bit over 46.5, expecting more of a high-scoring affair. David James, over under 46.5 for the 49ers and the Eagles.
I'm going to go over.
Okay, going over. So David and Michelle going with the over in this game. Sticking with the same game. A.J. Brown, a very popular figure around these parts. His over-under on the FanDuel Sportsbook, 70.5 yards. 70.5 receiving yards for A.J. Brown. Joe Rexrode, kick us off. Over or under 70.5 yards for A.J. Brown on Sunday.
Yeah, he had a quiet game. He was apparently upset on the sideline, by the way. Talked about it some this week, but I think he'll have a 40-plus yard reception in this game, so give me the over.
Going over for A.J. Brown. Michelle Knezovic is going under 70.5 for A.J. Brown. I agree with you. I think he has one big play in this game, and then he'll make a few other catches, so I'll go with the over as well for A.J. Brown. I think he ends up with about 78 yards receiving, but that is over 70.5, so I will go over. David James, over or under 70.5 receiving yards for A.J. Brown coming up in the NFC title game.
I'm going to go over, and I mean, he doesn't have always open on his Instagram account for nothing, so it's always open.
Always open, A.J. Brown. Moving ahead to the AFC title game, the Cincinnati Bengals on the road at Arrowhead Stadium, or as TD called it in the last segment, Burrowhead Stadium, to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 1.5 in this game. Michelle's going with the Bengals plus the 1.5 in the matchup. I'm going with the Bengals as well, and I'm locking it down. That is my lock in this matchup. I feel really good about the Bengals and Joe Burrow to win this game, so I will go the Bengals plus the 1.5, and I will lock it down. Joe Rexrode, Chiefs, favored by 1.5 in this matchup.
This reminds me, we totally forgot to yell at Jared about this, the Tannehill, revisiting Tannehill. Some guys just stick it out and play. Yeah. The reality is, Patrick Mahomes does not have he doesn't have a high ankle sprain. I don't care what anybody says, okay? I am an internet doctor, and I'm telling you right now, he doesn't have a high ankle sprain. He has an ankle sprain, but you know what? It's still, you watch him at the press conference, he walked a little bit gingerly. You watch him in that quick little video of practice, didn't see a ton. I think there's a little bit of trying to make him look a little bit better than he is. He's going to play, but without that mobility, with that mobility compromised a little bit, that just takes away a few plays that can be game-changing plays. So, yeah, I'm going Bengals.
Going with the Bengals in this matchup, plus the 1.5. David James, Cincinnati on the road in the AFC title game, taking on Kansas City.
Give me Joe Burr.
Wow. A clean sweep for the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know if that makes me feel great with this pick.
No. I mean, you should, if I picked, the other one, you should feel great.
Well, I don't.
But I didn't, so we'll see. I mean, the Chiefs certainly could win at home.
Yes, I think that is certainly within the realm of possibility.
Not a huge shocker.
Yeah.
All right, sticking with the same game, the over-under between Chiefs and Bengals is 48. I'll start on this one. I'll take the over in this one. I think Mahomes will make enough plays where they'll score some points. Cincinnati's going to score. Cincinnati's going to score some points in this game. I think that Mahomes will be healthy enough to make some plays, so I will go over the 48. Joe Rexrode, over or under 48 for the over-under in this matchup?
Under lock.
Ooh, locking it down.
Two really, really good defensive coordinators who I think will show their stuff. And this game will be – I think both these games are going to be 23-20 kinds of games.
Okay. Michelle Knezovic is also going over in this matchup, so taking the over 48. Michelle is rooting for some high-scoring games in title game weekend this weekend. So we'll see
I wouldn't hate it
on that front. David James, over under 48 as Cincinnati travels to take on the Chiefs.
I don't always like picking overs for both the games, but I will go the over.
Going over in this matchup as well. Sticking with the same game, who ends up with more passing yards, Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes? On FanDuel, Mahomes is picked to end up with more yards, but who ends up with more passing yards? Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes? Joe Rexrode, we begin with you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I think some of those big plays Mahomes makes off schedule are going to be harder to come by. I'll go Burrow.
Going with Burrow in this matchup. So going with Joe
No,
Burrow.
you know what? Let me change it. I'm going to go Mahomes. I mean, the Bengals can actually run the ball. I'll go Mahomes.
Okay.
It has to be. It's all him.
Okay, going with Mahomes in this matchup. Michelle Knezovic is going with Joe Burrow for more passing yards, so riding with Joe Burrow and the Bengals all the way. I think I'm going to go Mahomes too. I'm going Mahomes. I think, like you said, they're going to have to throw the ball all over the yard. I think Cincinnati's going to get up in this game, which is going to require Kansas City to throw the ball even more. So I will go with Patrick Mahomes, more passing yards in this matchup. David James, who has more yards passing, Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game?
That is a tough one, but I'm a big Joe Burrow stan, so I'm going Joe Burrow.
Going with Joe Burrow. So Rexrode and I going with Mahomes, Michelle and David going with Burrow. That is not a comforting feeling.
Ravens fan, Burrow stan?
Well, so Joe Burrow went to LSU. I liked LSU.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
I don't like that he's a Bengals player, but I mean, I still like him.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. That's fine.
Works out well. Yeah. So you're predicting an Eagles and Bengals Super Bowl coming up.
Eagles, Bengals.
I'm going 49ers, Bengals.
The Beagles Bowl. The Beagles Bowl.
Good stuff. That'll be good. So
that one hurts.
I think Charles
pun
picked
intended there too.
Charles picked Chiefs and 49ers. So I'm looking forward to the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl that we're going to have coming up. That'll be the only one we didn't pick.
Any of these combinations work for me. Like I'd be
agree.
excited about the Super Bowl. Like last year, I'll be honest, it was kind of a downer when the Bengals came back and won that game because I really wanted Chiefs-Rams, you know?
No, I was excited.
Yeah.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, no, they're just going to go get blind. I just didn't believe they were that good. We had just watched them here. I'm like, that team's not very good.
Right.
Gave them the ball 3 times. This year, so it ended up being a fine Super Bowl. It was fine. The Rams are clearly better. Bengals are clearly a better team this year. Any combination here is a win for NFL fans, I think.
Dan from Clifton Park says, great show today, and my favorite segment of the week. I want to thank Joe for his picks this year. Because of them, I can now afford a new bathroom in the house. Keep up the good work. I'm on Cincinnati and San Francisco. This is from Dan from Clifton Park.
Hey, man. Hey, absolutely. You know, I whatever I can do, I'm here to serve. Except when Mark bets on, Jared versus Joe. Sorry, Mark.
Be responsible. That's all we ask. Just be responsible out there. Yeah, I'm excited this weekend. If A.J. Brown and the Eagles win this weekend and they're going to the Super Bowl, what's the reaction from Titans fans on Monday?
Well, I think that's a good question. I still feel like
I
there's
should
got to
throw
be
Brett Kern in there too.
Yeah, exactly. I still feel like there've got to be a pretty fair amount of Titans fans who would be happy for him. No,
well, I don't know.
You don't think so?
I guess it depends on what you mean by fair amount. But yeah, there will be some.
I mean,
I also feel like the other person you get mad at is no longer employed, right? Like, so if John Robinson was still the general manager and the Eagles won this weekend, all our show would be on Monday as Titans fans calling out and just yelling about the A.J. Brown.
Why hasn't John Robinson been fired? Like we'd be talking right now, like, well, John Robinson's still the GM, but if they go to the Super Bowl, does he get fired Monday? Yeah. So, yeah, look, I mean, it's what's done is done. It's a huge mistake. All you can do is move forward. In the meantime, he sent a couple, petty tweets. Come on. It'd be pretty awesome, right?
I don't know, man. I'm interested to see what Titans fans would think about that.
I expect the text line to blow up.
I expect it to do as well. Coming up next, it's time for Call Your Shot Friday. We'll take your called shot, 615-737-1025 on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We'll give our final thoughts on the Bengals and Chiefs and the Eagles and 49ers as well, 615-737-1025. If you've been watching the NFL playoffs from the sidelines, there's still time to get in the game with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers bet this Sunday's conference championship games with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. All you have to do is sign up with promo code ROB. Like I just said, I'm going with San Francisco on the road to take down Philadelphia. I'm going with Cincinnati to take down Kansas City, but you can take it any way you want to take it. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code ROB. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets. It expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The playoffs are in full swing, and Electronic Express is bringing you show-stopping deals. Come into any of our convenient locations and save big on 4K TVs from your favorite brands like Samsung, LG, Sony, TCL, Hisense, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department. 4K TVs, computers, appliances, housewares, gaming, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 36 months free financing. Get big game ready in-store or online at electronicexpress.com. Electronic Express, we make it happen.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops and go farther and faster with the new G430 woods and irons from Ping. The Ping G430 woods introduce the next generation of speed with new face technology for longer and more accurate shots. The new Ping G430 irons are designed with pure flex technology for faster ball speed and more distance. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit on the new Ping G430 woods and irons today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Score, pass, out of bounds. Those are sports words. Some people hear any sports word and they can't help but listen. Like drive. Drive is another sports word. And drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. You might say those savings are on par with the best in the league. You see, par is also a sports word, so I know you're still listening. And that's called covering our bases. Okay, I'm done now. But I'm serious about drivers saving big with Progressive. Now I'm really done.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
Sometimes he gets lonely and needs some company.
10 for 17 for 45 yards in his career with 1 interception.
This is one of those years where it's a step back for them.
And that'll create more one-on-one situations and make it easier for him to throw the ball down the field.
It's Stillman and Company. You've got real talent. With Jared Stillman. Weekdays from 2 to 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Good morning. Good morning.
You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
I had the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The sports weekend has arrived. You know what that means.
Shoot your shot.
It's time for Call Your Shot Friday with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the week, time for Call Your Shot Friday here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your bold predictions in the world of sports on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, how did we do last week in Call Your Shot Friday?
Let's see. Dak will throw no picks, and will lead the winning TD drive to CeeDee Lamb. No. I had Travis Kelce with 4 touchdown catches. He had 3? Did he have 3? Or did he just have 2?
I think he had 2.
I thought he had 3. Either way, he got 2 quick ones, and I was like, uh-oh. Brett Maher will not miss a PAT. Boom.
Well,
the fact that you can call a shot.
He got one blocked, didn't he?
I thought that was a field goal. That was a
Maybe
PAT?
It was a field goal. I have to go back and look.
I think it was a field goal. Right?
I'm pretty sure it was a field goal.
Okay. Yeah, don't try to take away my shots.
I couldn't remember what got blocked. All
I
right.
said Tanner Jeannot will score against the Kings.
Just a few days off.
That was a few days off, and he
Yep.
scored twice since then. So like I'm in the
You're in the
neighborhood.
neighborhood, yeah.
You had A.J. Brown 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. That did not happen.
Did not.
Brett Maher will miss a 40-plus yard field goal. Now, I don't know how long that blocked one was, but that's the only miss he had, though, right? I think.
I believe you're correct.
I believe so, yeah.
The Predators will trade Dante Fabro by March 3rd. We're waiting on that one. Fiala scores twice against the Preds. He did not do that.
Had about 5 great looks. Didn't score on any of them.
And Derek Carr, you sticking with this? The next quarterback of the New York Jets. Is he like Nathaniel Hackett? Are they buddies? They were both in the same division last year.
I may not be sticking with that one.
Wait.
What are we waiting
Did
on?
Michelle? Oh, here we go.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, where's Michelle's picks? She had Dak with 3 interceptions, had 2.
He had 2.
All
Close.
4 underdogs win this weekend, which did not happen.
No.
Right? The Niners were definitely favored. Yeah. Chiefs favorite. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence and Mahomes in the first half will combine for 7 touchdown passes. That did not happen. And Michelle, call your shot fantasy segment. Vols will lose. Vols Hoops lose in the first round of the tournament. So she's already called that shot.
Jared texted me and said PAT. I think he did miss a PAT. I think it's where it got blocked.
That was the block PAT?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're wrong.
Good job, Jared. Hey, Robby, it was a PAT. I promise you that's true. Text me sometime to hang out. Signed, Jared.
Or Brady Hoke. Joe, kick us off today with today's edition of Call Your Shot Friday.
All right. Darius Slay, the game-clinching interception for the Eagles.
Okay.
A wonderful move by the Lions to trade him away a few years ago.
Yes.
Joe Mixon, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner in Kansas City.
Okay.
A.J. Brown, 56, not 55, not 57, 56-yard touchdown reception. And Travis Kelce will have less than 100 yards and no touchdowns. I'm going the other way on Kelce.
Okay.
And one more thing. After watching them play this week, a fantastic game and a fantastic result. My Golden State Warriors will finish 3rd in the West.
Oh!
They are 9th right now. And we will be set up for Warriors-Grizzlies in the second round.
Let's get after it.
Let's
Sure.
go.
Grizzlies fans would love that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
David James, your called shots for the week.
So, one of my call shots is A.J. Brown over 100 yards.
Okay. Over 100 yards.
Over 100 yards. I think
That'd be a big game.
Yeah, very big game. Lamar Jackson, he will sign with the Baltimore Ravens by March 1st.
By March 1st. Okay.
By March 1st.
I like that.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm trying to think of the other one. The Memphis Tigers basketball team, men's, will make it Elite 8 this year.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like that. Elite 8. Call your shot.
That's a shot.
There we go. All right.
I
real
like
quickly.
them.
San Francisco will win on a last-second field goal. As time is expiring, San Francisco wins the game on a last-second field goal. Cliff Kingsbury will emerge from the forest of Thailand with maybe his own edition of MILF Manor going on over there, and he will be the next offensive coordinator at the University of Alabama. Cliff Kingsbury will be the next offensive coordinator at the University of Alabama. T. Higgins will lead all receivers this weekend in yards. T. Higgins will lead all receivers this weekend in yards. And finally, Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback of the New York Jets next year.
Oh, boy.
There's a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
And the feeling I get is it's maybe kind of real
It's actually,
this time.
it might be real this
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
me.
with you, man.
I never bought it last year. Didn't think he was ever going anywhere last year. I might buy it this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you may be onto something. Boy, will that be fun if that's the case. I love the Cliff Kingsbury shot. Cliff, all right? Now, no more of those raves that you kids do, all right, or whatever y'all doing out there.
Now,
all
Cliff,
right?
you have any idea how to
Terrible.
run the ball? My God.
It's a terrible Saban impersonation.
Well, you know him.
Yeah. Good friends.
You think Kingsbury would be a good fit as OC of Alabama?
Sure.
He likes to sling it around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it's not like the Cardinals ever ran the football. You know, he believes in balance. I think it could work out pretty well, actually.
Okay. Lindsey on the text
He's
line.
got his wits about him
Got
still.
a lot of people saying that the Dallas kicker missed the PAT. So
Okay.
looks like you're wrong.
Are
wasn't
those
just-
people
wasn't just
Jared pretending to be other people?
Wasn't just Jared.
Yeah.
I got a text that says my
That's my
call
bad.
shot
That's my
is Travis Kelce throws a touchdown pass. So a thrown touchdown pass from Travis Kelce. We've seen it before. It has happened.
Say he'll throw it to Mahomes, coward.
The wheel route from Mahomes out of the backfield.
Mahomes on that ankle.
Yeah.
Yes.
BP from Springfield says, no love from the Niners, Joe. We'll see. This from BP on the text line.
Oh, I like the Niners a lot. I'm not going to be shocked if they win this game, but I do think home field means something at times in these situations, and the Eagles are
they're good.
I'm done. I've been kind of downplaying them all year. You know, it's more about the Eagles to me. They have a complete football team, and I gotta think that at some point Brock Purdy will be less than awesome in some situation in a huge game on the road against the most fierce pass rush in the league. Like, you know,
I will say,
if not, hey, kudos to him and them.
The one part that makes me really nervous about the 49ers pick that I have is typically with Bosa and just the front that they have as a whole, they're just overwhelming to teams. And I feel like this Eagles offensive line, if there's an offensive line that's equipped to deal with it, it's probably this one. Like, it's probably the Eagles.
And it's so much about, and obviously the Eagles running the ball and the different ways they run the ball is so tough for teams to deal with. Then those two receivers, then Gettert. I mean, it's a heck of a team. So, yeah, that's just going to be a fantastic matchup. Really, I mean, and here's by the way, look at both those teams. When we talk about offensive line, whatever, let's look at the teams all around, especially those two teams. Offensive line is a huge part of why they are where they are.
Well, Trent Williams might be – he's fantastic
he's
left
incredible.
tackle. Like, it's unbelievable how good he is in San Francisco. And when they do what Kyle Shanahan does and they end up pulling him and he's running out and he's taking on a cornerback, I'm like, good Lord, just get down. Whoever the corner is, just get down. Otherwise, you're going to end up on the third row of the stands.
Or he's left on an island against whichever elite pass rusher you want and is just a complete silencer.
Swallowing them up, yeah.
Man.
It's pretty amazing.
It kind of helps. Offensive line game. Always will be. Line of scrimmage game.
I'm interested to see how healthy Patrick Mahomes is coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Is he hobbling around out there? Can he move at all?
There's got to be a limitation. But, those guys just play. Those guys just play.
It's a high ankle sprain, Joe.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Torn his ACL and torn his Achilles too, but he'll be fine. He's just that tough.
That's going to do it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back coming up at 6 a.m. on Monday. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Preds off till February the 7th, so the Preds enjoying a nice break, winning 5 of their past 6 games. Chase and Michelle is coming up next.